We just signed up for the Mount Hyjal midnight release. We'll be going to Mount Hyjal on release night. Make sure you're attuned. We won't stop until the raid is cleared. Make sure you've enough time for it and you're able to stay awake. Everyone is required to look up strats and know the fights before entering the raid. Asking questions is of course allowed, coming unprepared isn't. We will be making shadow res cloaks for free for raiders/regulars that have their full BT attunement done on that character. Neck for proof. Prio healers first. Gems will be given to raiders/regulars who have gotten Abyss piece only. Nice. Nice. So the epic gems that we get in the raid will be given out to raiders and regulars who have gotten something that's BIS. Not just an upgrade, it has to be BIS. Okay. 2 SR, MS, main spec SR over main spec OS over SR/OS. Hard reserved, Heart of Darkness, Mind Nodes, and BOEs. Sure. Oh, it's exciting. Very, very exciting. Okay, so we're going Hyjal on release night, and then probably the next night will be Black Temple. There is a sign up for, that's the Thursday. There is a sign up for Mount Hyjal BT Friday. And there's a sign up for BT Tuesday. Okay. So it looks like they're putting 2 raids together for the first week. Nice, nice, nice. Well, we've signed up for Mount Hyjal midnight release. The other 2 haven't actually gotten a sign up yet, so we'll get those. We're going to do it a little bit differently, Mana Tombs, today. We're actually going to pickpocket. We're starting with MT. We'll pick until we can't pick no more, basically. We'll use our vanishes, our prep, our vanish. Gnomish cloak, if we need to. We're 2 resets down because we finished with SV last night because I was super tired and we didn't close with an MT, which we usually do. That was 1. And there's another MT in there that we logged out or went to another character and we scuffed the thing. I could look back through the thing, and I probably will after this run. But we are going to lockpick everything. Basically going to try and fill out 12-minute runs so that we can do 2 MT hours back to back and get back to where we were at, even numbers, or at least 1, so we can flow straight into an SV. It's up there, brother, straight above my head, my big bald head. Mana Tombs is 296 gold per hour on average. We've done 16 lockouts. We've actually done 17, but I lost it in the... We could go back through and check it out, but basically it's 200 and just under 300 gold per hour for Mana Tombs. So that's 85 runs we've done Mana Tombs since we started tracking it. And SV is 383. So just a little bit under 100 gold per hour more. Lone RTS, who knows? Maybe there'll be another spine sever in one of those junk boxes. That'll skew the gold per hour for sure. Yeah, it's still worth about 200 gold, I think. Wow, 627 gold. How did that? That's ridiculous. Nobody's going to pay that. What I'd love to see though actually is a Nightblade, because we got the spine sever already, and just to close out TBC for rogue bragging rights, I would like to have gotten both epics from lockboxes in this expansion. So I'd love to get a Nightblade, to be honest. I'm leveling my rogue at the minute, looking forward to running this. Yeah, it's a great little farm. It's a great little farm. SV is worth more, but this is also a lot of fun. I normally don't pickpocket, but I want to try and bolster out an hour with 12-minute runs here. Let's get some poisons up. Hello, broski. How was it today's training? It was hard. It was my first day of proper training back, so I did a full day. In the morning, we ran and then we stretched. My stretches are deepening on my legs, so I can put both my legs up on the high bar now, which is about chin height. I can't extend both of my legs while they're on that bar, but I'm getting there. After that, we did forms, practicing forms. And that was pretty much the morning. That was a mistake. Now they're going to pull if I crack the chest. Then we had our break, and I was actually super wrecked, so I slept for 2 hours in the afternoon. Then in 3 o'clock, we did Qigong, which is basically like a form of meditation, for about 15 minutes. And then I ran again, but this time in the morning and in the afternoon. There's two guys that are here who run together generally. Okay, so we did get a resist there. So we're going to use our prep now just to get our vanish back. And I think I'll equip the cloaking device so we have a third vanish if we need it. There's two guys who run together. And when they finish their run every morning and in the afternoon, when they get back to the academy, they go to the bottom of this small hill after the run, and then they do frog jumps to just absolutely rip the shreds out of their God, I can't believe I'm forgetting the names of the leg muscles. Hamstrings and glutes and the front little thighs. Jesus. And I joined them this morning after the run, and I joined them this afternoon after the run as well. So I put in the maximum effort. So that was nice. The runs are getting easier, which felt good this week. I wasn't dying. I could keep up with them. And then we had Sanda training. So we were doing boxing drills, and then we were doing sparring. So I caught a guy. Me and this guy did this combination that we learned. And we both did the same combination, and we both dodged the first two punches in the combo. But at the end, I threw a left hook and he threw his left hook, and we both hit each other in the side of the face at the same time, which was very funny. We were laughing about it. So it was like even Stevens, and we both got to like take a couple of shots and give a couple of shots. So that was nice. But I am tired now. I can feel it in my body. Oh my god, I got a purple. I got an epic. Nice. It's not worth much now, but nice. Holy shit. Okay, so I said that I didn't think that epics could drop here, but patterns are kind of slightly different to weapons and like armor sets by their category, but I'm not sure if, I mean, that's still pretty nice. Cool. First Manitoum's epic. Pretty sweet. Hey, oh wow, I only have 1,647 gold. Yeah, you got more than me. But I did just create a new, well, I had him for a while, but I just ran him from the starting zone to Undercity, bought out the guild, bought out his bank tabs, kitted him out with netherweave bags in his bags and his bank, and he's going to be my new haste potion bank alt because the other one is full. McBanks is totally full. All right, nice. We're at 9 minutes, so this is going to be good. We'll pick everything, get the 2 chests, and bump it out to 12-minute runs. Congrats. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, first epic. Feels good, to be honest. Oh, I'm surprised. Now I'm wondering if actual level 70 epic items can drop in here. Maybe. Nice dodge. That effer almost found you. Yeah. Hey, PJ Cell, what's up, brother? Yeah, the pattern demands mats and a crafter. They appear more frequently than full epic items. I missed an epic? Yeah, but not a crazy one. This one. I got it off one of the dark casters that was protecting the second chest, the packer on the second chest, which really surprised me. I just saw this purple lettering going up and I was like, huh? The hell? But we will, of course, add it to the gold per hour. Because it is an advantage in Manitoums that you kill a lot more mobs than you do in SV, and so epic drops or rare drops are more likely to happen. That's super cool though, dopamine rush and profit. Yeah, and the first run of the evening, you know, first run of the stream, so it's a pretty nice start. Maybe the game is patting me on the back and saying, look, you're being a real rogue again, you're picking all the pockets. We're going to reward you. But I get all these already. Jeez, I'm half asleep. Cool to see some purple though, yeah, for sure. For sure. Always nice to see an epic. And with pickpocketing, it's nice because we always have adrenaline rush up for these packs, which is super cool. So we can absolutely just annihilate them. 12:45. We can shave that down to flat 12, no problem. I think we only use one sprint here. So we actually wasted one by not using it before the prep. So yeah, it would be good. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're actually going to go into the shadow step. And we can rob these again. We robbed them on the way in. But it's a 3 to 8 minute timer on pockets. A random respawn timer between 3 and 8 minutes. So somewhere in that window of time, the pocket of any mob you've already picked will respawn. Alright, let's switch spec. And I think we'll open all of these at the end, if we have space. Hmm? Anybody in the chat, Heroes of Might and Magic player? Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, for example, the new game that's in early access. Let me know if you are. I have an app that I'm building with my friend that's actually currently live, but we haven't actually put it out into the world yet, so it's almost finished. Now, if there's any, Heroes of Might and Magic is the name of the game. It's a series. One of them is a legendary game, Heroes of Might and Magic 3. And the music in that is probably the most iconic, or one of the most iconic scores to any game ever. If you like looked on any list of best music in video games, it'll definitely be in the top 5. And a great game as well. Somebody bought the rights to it because the series had made a series of pretty poor games continuing on from 3. Somebody bought the rights to the series and has remade it, which is nice. What am I going to do here? Kind of want that there. Let's do it like that. I think we'll skip that pack on the left just to try and get it down to 24 minutes for 2 runs. Not even going to bother sapping here. Don't need to. Absolutely no need for a sap. good morning. Justin Trudeau. I like the name. But for me, I could have a better morning in WoW. Tell me your worries and your woes and your wows. A level 70 rogue keeps killing me in Stranglethorn Vale. Never fun. See, this is the origin story of your villain arc now. This is when you become that rogue. 10 years later, but WoW years are like dog years, so that's like in about 2 weeks. And you go down to Stranglethorn Vale and you just take your day out on anybody down there that you see. We're not going to pull him in because that's the danger zone right there. We should be safe now though. I'm gonna kidney shot just in case he hits us with another one. Okay. Five and a half minutes. One day you sleep with his mother. You could take it there if you wanted. Hey, just keep moving. You're pretty much spell hit capped against these guys anyway because they're 63 and 64. And if you're not spell hit capped so that you have only 1% resist chance, you're very close to it. Which is nice because in SV you have to have a special spell hit set to pickpocket in there safely. Which means your bags are even more full. Oh, I missed a mine. Too focused on robbing these people blind. I missed a mine, but that's alright. We've got 3.5 minutes. Oh, what is going on? What a lockout. Holy. Epic in the first run. Living Ruby from an Addy in the second. This Maybe I should be picking pockets in here all the time. If this is what the game is telling me, whispering in my ear, you're a rogue. Rob them all. I don't know. The epic wasn't the, it's a pattern, right? So not a crazy epic, but 85 gold is 85 gold. Let's not denigrate, undermine, or otherwise shame this beautiful epic pattern. And you know what? Like, you could use that as a rogue. It's not bis, but 18 agi, 17 hit, and 36 strength. You know, it's a rogue-ish item. It's got all the stats we like, which is nice. $21.55, perfect. Perfect. Let's just chomp this up now while we're running. I'm so bored in TBC that I am leveling up this priest just so I can spend 5,000 gold on flying. Board maxing. I love it. You don't like gold farming? You don't like stealth farming or mage AoE farming or paladin AoE farming? Somebody made a great comment today that I read on a Journey video, and they said TBC endgame dungeons, like heroic specifically, pale in comparison to the fun that I had and the motivation I had to run endgame classic dungeons. Righteous Orb farming in Strat Life, various materials, dark runes, for example. You know, there was the mount in, I don't think I reset. Oh, you got 71k gold. There you go. Strat home. And as soon as I read it, I realized he was right. It was true. The only thing in heroic dungeons now that you are going to get after you've gotten like kind of your best gear is Anzu, right? And those unique gems that the bosses can drop that give you like half a DPS each if you really want to min-max. They could make TBC dungeons much, much better if they just added one or two other mounts, make them super rare, like, you know, the Death Charger's Reigns from Stratholme Undead. You know, just 2 or 3 mounts, unique mounts scattered in the dungeons. On top of that, have something like a Righteous Orb-like item in 1 or 2 of the dungeons that you can farm that is required in endgame enchanting so that you can make a little bit of money doing that. 1 or 2 unique pieces of gear that are not bis, but like they're transmoggy, like a T-Booze, you know. So, and again, super, super rare, but can only drop in heroics. So any heroic could drop them, for example. And if you did that, 1 or 2 Righteous Orb-like items, a couple of nice transmoggy bits of gear, and a handful of mounts, and just scatter them around the different dungeons. Or blanket, make those items, transmoggies, Righteous Orb stuff, make them droppable in any heroic. No, actually, that would make it too generic, and it would remove the... No, that wouldn't be a good idea. Death Charger's Reigns are tied to Strat Live, to Strat Undead, and it makes it a more unique dungeon. It gives the dungeon more character. So scatter them around, but do it in a way that works. And I'm just going to burst through here just to see if there's a chest here, because I'm not sure if I reset. I don't want to reset it now because we've come in. We'll lose one lockout. I did. Nice one. Okay. We can fill out the 12 when we drop down at the end to pick a few pockets around here. So it's all good. But yeah, give people a reason to run heroics, you know? I wish they could make badges useful. I have hundreds of them with no use. Yeah, I mean, they will in later phases, of course, because we can buy epic gems with them, so you can just turn them into gold. DST for 500 would be nice, though. Imagine that. Imagine how much life that would breathe back into heroics if you could get a DST for 500 gold, or 500 badges. Everybody will be running them. And then you got multiple alts. Everybody will be running heroics to get a DST. And 500 is a lot. It's going to take you like, you know, I don't know, how many heroics do you get on average? How many badges do you get on average from a heroic? Average dungeon has, what, 3 bosses? They drop 2 badges, that's 6. You'd need to do not 100 heroics, but 85. You'd need to do 85 heroics to get a DST. How many heroics are there? 3, 7, 10, 12, 50. Magister's Terrace isn't out yet. 15. 85 heroics. What's that? 15, 30, 60, 75, 85. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd need to, if you farmed every heroic every day, you could get it in a week, but nobody's going to do that. So it would take you like 2 weeks if you're doing 6 heroics a day. 7 heroics a day, and it would take you a month if you're doing 3 or 4 heroics a day to get a DST. Then everyone would have a DST. But it would keep heroics fresh and exciting throughout the entire expansion, because then you'd need to do that for each of your alts, right? And that is the quality of that item, how good it is. That is 100% something that people would do if you could get a DST by running enough heroics. You know, and if you added the things I mentioned before, you know, a T-Booze like object, as well as farming the heroics to get the ST, then you'd also be getting those, you know, righteous orb-like items, maybe one of those nice transmoggy items, maybe a mount. It'd just add a couple of sprinkles to the cherry that is DST on top of the TBC endgame sundae. Kind of a no-brainer. 500 is not hard, actually. Yeah, exactly. It really isn't. It just depends how unemployed you are, really. I saw an interesting video today, though. When the developers were making Classic, I mean, it's a Classic Plus video. When the developers were making Classic, they had there was so much content that they wanted to add to Classic that they couldn't. There were so many things that they had to cut. And one of the data guys, like the data guy, the server guy, was like, look guys, there's just too much data. We can't do this. You have to cut loads of this. The technology just couldn't handle their vision. That's why TBC became TBC. This was all supposed to be inside Classic. But as well as things that did get released, like TBC and Karazhan, that were supposed to be in Classic, loads of stuff didn't make it into the final cut or into any of the expansions. So we can expect to see some new stuff, a lot of new content that was originally supposed to go into the game that never made it in Classic Plus, which is very exciting. When I heard that, I got a little bit giddy, because we're talking about the hearts and minds that created this, arguably the best MMO RPG of all time, and also one of the best video games of all time. I mean, it's a masterpiece. Flawed as it is, it's still a masterpiece. So the people who made that have loads of stuff in their back pocket. Loads of stuff we never got to see. Just sitting there, you know, in the archives. So very excited to see how much of that they use. Compared to Gruul Lockout every week, sure. 500 is not hard, actually. Yeah, sure. Problem right now, people are burnt out at TBC and they want Wrath of the Lich King. Classic Plus confirmed. I mean, it's all but confirmed. They have hinted at it. It's unofficially confirmed, we'll just say that. They've been working on it. They've hinted they're working on it. Everybody's wanted it. It's the first BlizzCon in how long? This September. They said there's massive announcements coming for Classic and the future Classic. Like 99.99. Like, it's confirmed, basically. They just haven't said anything yet. Sadly, the old devs that had those visions are not there anymore, so I'm trying not to get too excited. Sure, but they're... the articulated, fleshed out designs and ideas of their vision are sitting in the archives there. They are there. And they know that the player base wants that kind of content. So I'm not, like, I could cope Max and say they're going to put it all in, but I think they will cherry pick some really, really nice bits of that and put it in. Honestly, if they just stuck to that content and they didn't add any of their, like, the sod grandeur and the ideas that they had about that and making mages healers and all that ridiculous shit, like, if they just went back and went, you know what, like, the guys who made this were insane and it's a great game and there's loads of stuff there they didn't use, and based on what they created, it's going to be amazing if we implement half of it. But they have to leave their egos at the door to do that, you see. They have to just go, look, it's not ours anymore. We're not really designing here. We're re-implementing things that people made that we know the player base wants. But considering how out of touch they've been with Classic over the years and the player base, it's kind of a pipe dream to expect them to think like that and just put their own wants, desires, and egos at the door, leave it outside and just go, we're just using this and we're just going to try and breathe life back into these relics of older designers who really just did it better. They just have to admit that the chance that they would, like, do something wrong or mess it up and be out of touch with the community is very, very high, whereas the chance that if they used any of that old content that it would fit into this game and work and the community would love it is very, very high. So it's like, it's kind of a no-brainer, but oh. Cheers will be lit. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. 12, 24, 36. We've got 2 minutes. So we'll open these boxes here. Pretty nice. Okay, Epic from the first run. Living Ruby from an Adamantite from the second. Let's just spam this macro I have to pick everything. Classic C coming this year or Riot. I don't know, Samways. I don't know if you picked up on that last thing I mentioned about all this old content, or you heard that I watched in a video today. There could actually be a lot of work to do. Yeah, they can still do class changes and all that stuff on their own, but give us content that was intended for Classic when it was made. That'd be sick. Exactly. And I hope they just tweak the talents a little bit to make some of the classes viable, like Ret Pallies, Feral Druids and stuff like that. In Raid, Shadow Priests. Can I have this macro, please? Sure. It's actually on the Rogues Diary Discord. I think under macros. Yeah, it's under macros. So I'll send it in here. That's a link to the macros channel on the Rogues Diary Discord. And they've stated that they have been working on it right after SODA and even increased the team working on classic content. There you go. Oh my god, Streamlabs. Ugh, fuck off. I forgot about that. Okay, how do I remove Streamlabs? Let me ask the AI overlords. How do I remove Streamlabs? Streamlabs Cloud, actually. Twitch connection setting. All right. The most disrespectful chatbot I've ever had. Also the only chatbot I've ever had. I'll get a better one. Twitch connection settings. Stream elements, there we go, disconnect. Yep. Streamlabs, disconnect. Cool. And YouTube, go to Google account permissions page, find Streamlabs. I don't think it's actually, no, it's just on Twitch. Alright, cool. It'll be kind of sweet to get a gem from a lockbox here, though. Oh, Rogue's Diary. Biss. Absolute Biss. On private servers before they released Classic Plus, there was a farm where, as a rogue, you would just go into Scarlet Monastery Library, because the lockboxes in there are one tier of lockbox above the ones that you get in the graveyard. So you'd sneak around in the library as a level 30 something rogue, and you'd open lockboxes and they would drop Rogue's Diaries, and they would drop them at a much higher rate than they do on the real client. And they were worth 45 silver each at level 30. So you get like 200 of them and you've got like 100 gold, like 90 gold. So that was the gold farm back on private servers. Like every rogue just went in there, grinded for like, you know, a few hours, and you had your mount. It was so good. And in the original client of the game, Rogue's Diary, you could actually mouse over it and there'd be like a cog on it, or an icon that could show you that it could be lockpicked. But you moused over it and it said requires lockpicking 5,000. So it was just trolling rogues, like you couldn't actually open it. And Alakazam, which became Thoughtbot, which became Wowhead now, there were just comments and comments and comments saying like, how do I open it? And people just got so annoyed that they just removed the 5,000 lockpicking requirement and the interactive cog and just made it a lore item and left it a grey item and left it in the game. But yeah, that's the Rogue's Diary for you. Let's reset and go again. Silly Clanker, yeah. Easy mount farm, yes it was. It was a good one. You could also... Spell power rogues were based on that private server as well. Because you could put... there's a recipe you can buy from the goblin that sits in the house in Duskwood, just south of the cemetery where Morbid Fell, Fen, and whatever his name is near where Jitters is, and he sells it. Shadow Oil, that's it. Shadow Oil puts like an augment on your weapon that has a chance when you hit the target that it'll send out a Shadow Bolt rank 2. Kind of like a fiery weapon, but it's a Shadow Bolt. And so the spell power coefficient on the private servers was like ridiculous. So basically the best DPS setup for your rogue when you were playing on this private service, Nostalrius I think it was to have, it wasn't fiery weapon, because in Molten Core almost everything is immune to fire. So rogues were putting that Shadow Bolt rank 2 Shadow Oil on their weapon, and then just stacking loads of spell power, and it was a 1-to-1 coefficient. So if you had like 200 spell power, your Shadow Bolt would do 200 and whatever the Shadow Bolt value was damage whenever it procced. So obviously, once people figured that out, everybody was a spell power rogue. Ridiculous, but a lot of fun. Not gonna lie. All right. 12, 24, 36, 48. Hello, my friend. Hello to you too. Did you pickpocket some good stuff today? No, I haven't pickpocketed anything good, but we got an epic pattern in the first run from just a random trash mob. And then we got a living ruby in the second run from a node, from an adamantite node, which is always nice. So we'll sap the leader here, which is not him, because he wouldn't have kept moving. That guy's the leader, and he just stays with them then. I love the sound of riposte. That slice. It sounds so good. Alright, we got a blue from a chest. That's nice. I think that's an LPS. Yeah, 20 gold. Beauty of harp is that you have the increased stealth and speed. Actually way ahead of time here, so we need to chill out and pick some pockets. Oh, we're up to 69 viewers. That is the most viewers I have ever had on this channel. So that's kind of cool. Super happy about that. You can just sap him, blind him, kill this guy, vanish, and get the mine. But we have Blade Flurry up, and you get more greens from them. So let's just kill them all. I missed the immolate, but whatever. If we really need to, we'll just blind him a bandage. But I don't think that's going to happen. Really sweet run so far, though. 376 gold. How many lockouts we got left? One more. Our best MT so far is 501 gold. We got 2 noble topaz in one chest, which was really nice to see. I've only gotten double the same. I've gotten many double gem chests, but the same gem I've only gotten twice. I think I got 2 dawn stones and I got 2 noble topaz. I might have gotten 2 night's eye as well, maybe, but for sure 2, maybe 3. Gotta love those rich veins. Cash money as prep.
What is this? Oh, you must forgive me, but I was not expecting company. As you can see, we are somewhat preoccupied right now. But no matter. As I am a gracious host, I will tend to you personally.
Nice, making some money today, that's for sure. Ah, Blizzard. Come on now. What are you doing to me? Oh, I can see we got 48 viewers on Twitch and 7 on YouTube. I have wanted to transition over to Twitch for quite a while because on Twitch I can play all the music I want and I can't on YouTube. That's a big deal for me because I love my music and I would be really excited to just have different playlists going for when I'm farming. But there's such a ratio now. I think that I might actually do that sometime soon. Just disconnect YouTube altogether and go full Twitch. It's not left, it's not right. Worm chest or tomb chest? Let's see. Not tomb, so it's worm. I do love a worm chest. It's the most fun chest because of the strategy for it. Anything that has a creative strategy involved that isn't just blanket. I mean, we are just blanket killing them, but you have to tab, and then you get that really satisfying, you get to kill them all at the end. It's just really nice. Okay, we did get our armor pen proc, so that's not dangerous, but you can easily kill them without meaning to. Okay, now we go. Hey, what's the best rogue farm right now? I got max mining. The best rogue gold farm right now is Steamvault. As you can see up there, it's about 100 gold per hour, roughly more than MT. It's going to go down to about 75 or 80 after this run though, because this is a banger lockout. We're at 407 gold with the pattern and the living ruby. There are other kind of niche farms for rogue, but they're not consistent. Both of these are consistent. Like you can sneak into Nax and you can get the frozen runes, but the market for frozen runes is very niche. Very, very niche. And I think that they're only really desired at a certain point, at certain points. I think they might be desirable actually for Sunwell, because they absorb fire damage. So that might be something we could look into, because like you can make a lot of gold. A lot of gold. The problem is, in order to get the frozen runes, you need words of thawing, and words of thawing you get from Nax, and they drop from trash and stuff like that. But people sell them in the auction house. So when those rogue gold farms are up and running, the words of thawing are often priced so highly that it's not really worth going in for the frozen runes. However, if you're in like an off-peak season for that farm, or an off-peak season for the market for words of thawing, then you could get them really cheap. So I'm I'm actually going to go to the auction house when we finish this run. And I'm going to have a little look-see and see how much they cost, because we could stack a load of them. And if we stack a load of them and Sunwell comes out and they are BIS, we'll have a little look into it. But if they're BIS, Words of Thawing, we can make a lot of money. But right now, for consistency, MT or SV are both amazing. SV is obviously worth a bit more, but it's a slightly more technical farm. You have to use consumables, so that gold per hour difference is a little bit less than it will be because of the consumables we need to use. And Mana Tombs is BIS depending on your work-life balance, because you can bang out 5 runs of Mana Tombs in 30 minutes, 35 minutes if you're locked in, and then go back and raise your kids or do some work. So they're both BIS in different contexts, but strictly gold per hour, it's SV. What's some other farm that I can do if I'm not a rogue? Oh, there's loads of them. If you're a paladin, you can do strat home farming, which is a lot of fun. You can type into YouTube TBC Paladin Strat Home Farm, and you'll see how they rock that. That's a lot of fun. You can also do Black Morass farm with a paladin, but in order to really maximize your gold from that farm, you need to be skinning, and not a lot of paladins want to give up a profession slot for skinning, which outside of that farm is kind of useless, so it's not very popular, even though it's a good farm. Whereas with Strat Home, you don't have to do that. And it's still really good gold per hour. There's a very good player in my guild. He's one of the officers, Monroe, and he has a paladin and he runs Strat Home, and he's been running it for a while. You can get epics in there as well. You can get a T-Booze, which just for transmog is worth a lot, but it's obviously super rare. And it's a world drop, so it's not like it's tied to the instance where you'll see it a lot like you would see other epics in instances that are instance specific epics, or on a table that it can drop between different instances. One of them that can drop in Strat Home that is instance on a table of instances maybe is the Skull Flame Shield, which is actually still BIS or near BIS for paladins, because it breathes fire and damages all of the enemies around you for fire damage. So when you're AoE farming and you've got 50 or 60 or 70 mobs on you and you're doing fire damage to all of them, that adds a nice little bit of DPS to your farm. So a lot of paladins use that one. Or the Sporogar shield that poisons everything in a cloud around you. That's also a good one. Those are 2 paladin farms. Mages can do... I haven't looked into mage farm. I mean, mages can do boosting farms. They can do slave pens. They can do shadow labs. You need two mages for that, but you can make a lot of money boosting. I spent 10,000 gold to boost a second rogue up to 70, from 60 to 70, and I just paid 10k. Not all at once, but I paid 10k over those 10 levels. I think I leveled to like 62, and then I was like, forget this, I'm gonna go and get boosted, because I don't know what, I had about 25k gold liquid at that stage. It was a month or 2 in, and I'd already bought everything I needed. So yeah, if you're a mage, you can boost people. There's multiple dungeons. Mages probably have the most options in terms of gold farms. If you're a druid or a mage, you can also farm blood garnets. Nice. They're going for a lot these days. 7 gold for a blue, or for a green gem is really nice. You can go to the Throne of the Elements in the Grand here, or you can go to the Throne of Kil'jaeden here, and you can farm the elementals there. There are other spots. There's places in Netherstorm you can go and farm mana worms and mobs that drop motes of mana. And the guys in Kil'jaeden drop motes of fire, and Throne of the Elements has one section for each elemental type: air, fire, water, earth, and I was going to say heart, bringing me back to my Captain Planet youth. But yeah, there's one of each, and you can farm them and get but those areas are generally super contested. But if you're a druid, you have instant cast, an instant cast ranged spell, and if you're a mage, you have fire blast and you have ice lance. So they're the best taggers in those zones. So if you've got flying, you can just zip around and get whatever you need. So that's a good. Those are good farms. And if you're a warrior or a shadow priest or something like that, where you don't really have the ability to, let's just see if someone left a scroll on this. Probably not. No, the int scrolls. Yeah. If you're a class that can't really farm like normally, like the higher level stuff, like warriors or shadow priests, you can go to Sholomance. My co-guild lead was telling me that he made 400 to 500 gold when it was peaking. You need to have good RNG, but you go into Sholomance and you kill all of the necromancers and the summoners in kind of the big main room in the middle of the instance and the big main room before the middle. And it's super easy because they're all level 60 and you can just go in there and zerg everything and make money that way. So there's a lot of options regardless of what class you play. Oh, we've got one unopened lockbox here. Alright. Let's check the auction house for words of thawing. Let me do a quick... are frozen runes valuable in TBC final phase for Sunwall? Okay, so I'm not really listening to the AI because it's such a niche thing. It says no, but it's like there are much better options. You can fire protection potion, but you can, I'm pretty sure you can use both of them at the same time. AI is really good for certain things, but for others, not so much. In retail, they just increased in price after TBC. Collectors wanting the old gear and especially Transmog and Kata made Frozen Runes sought after again. Because Naxxramas in Wrath obviously gets rebooted into the Wrath version, and I'm not sure if there are Frozen Runes in them then. But people are saying that you can recreate certain sets with them. You can make Transmog gear that's unique. But I don't think that applies to Wrath. Okay. Always worth questioning though. I have a warlock, a warrior, and a shaman. Yeah, I'd check out the Froze. I'd go to, if you're kind of new to the game or you're new to the classes. I mean, if you're asking me what are the other farms, then I'm assuming you're not like a veteran player or something. Iceburn. So I would definitely recommend going to Sholomance and doing that, because they're all level 60. It's really easy with your warrior or your shaman, probably your warlock as well. You can just dot them up, or you can yeah, just seed them all and just kill the whole room. And then you loot them, and what you're looking for are the dark runes, because dark runes give you mana, and you can only get them from that classic dungeon. I think you can maybe get them for 1 or 2 more, but that's the most, it's the best dungeon to farm them in, because there's the most dense population of mobs that can drop them in that dungeon. And they're actually bis in Wrath as well. So right now, like, you know, Ret Pallies, any mana using class will buy frozen runes. They're selling for about 10 gold on my server now. So if you go in there and you kill all the the summoners and the necromancers, you can get lucky. You know, you could end up with like 6, 7, 8 runes in a run. Let's have a look at how much they're worth. Yeah, they're 10 gold each. So, you know, you do one run. Let's say the average is like, let's say the average is you get 5 in one run. You do 5 runs in an hour, that's 250 gold. So, you know, it's not to be sniffed at. If you can get that on average, it's pretty solid. And it's easy. It's a very easy entry level farm that you can that you can do no problem. Just be with your warrior, especially. I go in, just pull 1 pack at a time. There's like 3 to 4 mobs in a pack. Just use your cleave and spam stuff, and you'll wipe them out at level 70 with decent gear. Every time I come to see you farm, makes me want to jump back into farming, brother. We got an epic in the first. We got an epic pattern here in the first run in MT, and then we got a living ruby from a vein in the next one. So that was an absolutely insane, not insane, but a very, very good lockout. And again, I forgot to note down the number to update how much gold we made and the average. That's an interesting idea. I'll try solo. There you go. Hey, Cloud. How you doing? How are you doing today? I like your cat emojis. There's like lots of stray cats here at the academy, and they just lounge around outside on the ground. And most of them are pretty skittish, but some of the younger ones are pretty like intuitive and are just looking for someone to scratch them. And I do like cats and dogs and anything else really. Super mana, that's fine. LPS. Oh, nice. It was 84, now it's 94. I don't know if I was going to sell, but still. I'm going to keep these for Wednesday. The rubies. Ah, frozen runes, right? Words of thawing, actually, is what we're looking for. Word of thawings, yeah, there you go. 70 gold. How much are frozen runes? I think you can get the, because it's random how many you get from the, you pull them off the wall. You need the word of thawing to use it on the rune, then you can pull it off the wall. And when you do, frozen runes are worth 18 gold, right? So in order to justify that, we'd need, let's just call it 20 for easy math. What did I say? 70. We'd need to get 3, we'd need to get 4 frozen runes to break even. Which I think is actually not bad. You can get the one in Anubarak's room, you can get the one behind Patchwork, and there's a couple more you can get as well with some shenanigans. So you would probably make money, but like, you know, you're not going to be making that much money. Crazy luck. Yeah, it was good. It was a nice run. Cats are the best. How are you doing today? I'm good. I'm tired. It was my first day properly getting back into training, and I had a full day of training, and I pushed myself. So definitely feeling it. Like I fell asleep and slept for 2 hours in the afternoon, and I can feel my body now is tired as well. But it's good. It's that good tired, you know, where you know you've done like a lot of work. And yeah, my injuries are healing pretty well. So it's good times.
I have just the thing for you.
Let me browse armor, leather, shadow protection, just to see what we're looking at. Max level. Okay, belts are going. What do I have actually? I have a belt. 27. What's that? 27. Yeah, Dragon Hawk. Okay, that's it. I have a belt and I have cost. I gave away a cape. I shouldn't have given away the shadow protection cape. I gave it away. Then again, my guild just told me they will craft shadow protection capes, and I signed up for the midnight release. We're going to do Mount Hyjal midnight release, and then there's a Mount Hyjal and Black Temple on Friday the following day, and then the Black Temple will be on the following Tuesday for the Hyjal group that went in at midnight. And we have these ones. So what's that? 48 plus if you're undead, you just get that 10 flat. So we're at 58 shadow res if we're going to go full shadow res set. So you need like 120 more. We'll get 30 from the Medallion of Karabor. So we need 90. We'll get a shadow res cloak with the enchants. We need another. Not that much. I also have one of these ultra flash shadow reflectors. I can make another one. They're not unique. We get another 40 out of that. It's classic, but whatever. Just got to get that res. They kind of seem undervalued to me. Although we haven't sold, maybe you can get the wrists easily because we still haven't sold. Oh, maybe we did sell. Oh, we did sell. For 100 gold, I sold the those plate ones that I listed yesterday, the ones I got from SV. When I logged on earlier on, they had come back out of the auction house. I'd listed them for 170 with the rest of them. Yesterday, it didn't sell. And now the ones up there were up for like 140. And I was like, let's just see if we can get a quick sale for 100. And yeah, I can't cancel them. They're not there. And they're not here undersold. So they must have come in the last batch. All right. Let's go to SV. Just gonna quickly scooch back through the stream to find out what how much the gold total was from the last run we did there. gold total. Forgot to say hi. Been lurking in the dark. That's how we like to do it, though. The rogue way. And the big main room. 457.72, so we round up to 458 gold. 458 gold, right. Let's get the calculator out. 458, so 296 multiplied by 16. Bro, I literally just forgot. What was it, 498? Goldfish memory over here. 450, 498. $458. Jesus. Plus 458. And then we divide that by 17. For a new gold per hour average of MT of 305.52. So we round that up to 306. All right. Put that at 17. I couldn't be bothered going back through the stream last night to get like there was like it was broken up into like 2 or 3 sections because I'd switched over from MT over to my other guy and I lost the thing. So basically it doesn't really matter for the average because like the average is the average. You're going to get ones where you're up more, you're going to get ones where you're down more. So we lost an MT, but it doesn't matter for the average, but we just lose that from the TBC total gold farmed, but whatever. So what was that? 458. I suppose we could just add the average. That we'll do that. We'll just add the average, what we've got, like 300 gold. So 458. Let's just add 300 because it was at a little bit less. So 300 plus 458 is 758, and then we add that to 1,100, 1,011, 111,647 gold for a new total farmed amount of $112,405 gold. All right. Okay, spec swap. We got vanish. What are our 105? So we've repaired. That's good. We're using improved sprint and the PvP trinket, so we're not going to be wasting money on free action potions. We're using fell iron bombs because they're a lot cheaper than frost grenades at the moment. We've got our belt, we've got our boots, we've got our gnomish cloaking device. We have super healers and bandages, which are more significant now because we can get chest 1 with combat. So what are we looking like on lockout? Cool. We're two instances ahead of the game, which is nice. 9:10. 10 past 9. I'll probably do these 5 lockouts. 10 past 9, 10 past 10. And maybe bang out the quicker version of MT without pickpocketing. We didn't get a single gem for that. We just opened a load of boxes and got a load of useless shite. We just bolstered out a bit of time, so whatever. I do like getting super healing potions. They're not worth much, but I always go into raid with like 10 or 20. Because if you do ever pull on trash, you know, you pull a bit of threat sometimes. Especially if you're focusing on a caster that you know is going to cast a heal or something like that, and you want to be on it so that you can interrupt it. And you can end up pulling threat then, and you can get clobbered. So it's just nice to be able to heal yourself up. It takes the edge off the healers. And you can do it instantly. Like as soon as I see my health is going low, because I'm looking here, this is my heat map for my eyes. When I target, my target is here. My buffs are here, my slice and dice, all my things are here. This is where I'm looking when I'm fighting. And I don't have to look too far to like movement and where am I going and stuff on the ground. So that's the way that I do it. Which means when I get hit and my health goes down halfway, I just smash this straight away. So I can instantly react to taking damage, which is just nice. It's definitely saved my life at least once or twice in raids. Our healers are really good. I'm not denigrating them, but... And I'm sure they appreciate it as well, you know. Saying that, I die a lot. Like, I do good DPS. I do very good DPS, and I parse very, very highly. But I do die a lot. I've noticed that about myself. And I don't really know why. I don't really know why. Because you could say on any one given instance of me dying, oh, well, that's why you died. Or that's why you died. But they're all different reasons. And then it's like... Probably, it's obviously got to be like a... one layer deeper than that or higher than that, depending on how you frame it. Where I'm just not focused on survivability as much as I should be, or as much as other people are. I'm more focused on getting my nailing my rotation and doing the most damage, or not letting exposed armor fall off to the point where I'm not focusing on my environment and then I get killed by something. So probably that, to be honest. They're nice for world PvP. Okay. Bio, and I'll be back in 2. Do 5 fresh runs of SV. See if we can get as lucky as we did in MT. MT was really nice. Epic pattern, Living Ruby. See if we can keep that going in. MT was in MT, and we'll go into SV now and see if we can do something similar. Alright, we're back. Just walked past a load of the other students here, and they're sitting around playing cards. And I just realized, I need to buy Settlers of Catan. So I'm going to order Settlers of Catan on Taobao, because we got like 55, 60 students here. And I'm sure there are at least a few of them in the group that know and love Catan. Great board game. And I'm sure they'd be very happy to have something like that. Alright, we've got a Boglord vein. We may or may not get that, depending on how smoothly this run goes. Chest is there, and it's not locked. Lovely, nice and easy. Nice and easy to start off, although, jeez. There was a chest here yesterday. The most stubborn chest I think I've ever had. It cost me 20 gold in consumables just to open it. Had nothing in it, but it was a legendary battle. So these guys now path up to the left here, which is new. But that means that we can now... Oh, we got to resist. Bollocks. As long as they can't see us, we're okay. Oh no, they're coming up here. We do have a vanish, but I don't really want to use it. Can they see us? I think we're good here. We should drop combat in about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. A bit late. There we go. Do the runs need to be heroic? They don't. Jewel crits, fun stream, man. Thank you. I enjoy that you enjoy it. They don't need to be heroic, no. In Steamvaults, the chests are level 70, like end game, high level chests anyway. And as many rogues on the Rogues Diary Discord have been farming, and a couple of rogues have done a couple of the chests in heroic, because you can obviously come in heroic and get some of the easier chests. The ones that require you to do the NG pull, you just get clobbered because they hit much harder. But there's a couple of chests you can get in heroic, like these ones up here. So someone tested it out, a few people tested it out. And just from running heroics anyway, right? You run heroics, the gold amount you get from chests in heroic chests is the exact same. They're the exact same chest type. So they don't offer any new loot. They're the exact same chest. Obviously the difference being in mana tombs, because it's a 70 dungeon when it's heroic. Those chests would, I assume, both be Addy chests, the higher level ones, which give better loot, which these ones give. Level 70 greens, you know, if you get a shadow protection piece from one of those chests, then it's max level and bis. We will attempt mana tombs on heroic once we have the gear for it, which I don't know, I need to test it out, but I don't think we're too far away from being able to do that now. And if we can do that, it'll be harder. We'll have to use Adrenaline Rush on every pack and so on. But we'll then be getting level 70 chests from mana tombs, so it will make the farm more gold per hour. It'll be more work, but it'll probably just turn the farm from a 30 to 35 minute farm, which it is now, into like an hour farm like SV is. So we got netted, but we have the PvP. Oh my god. What the hell? I have improved sprint. I sprinted. Oh, it's on cooldown. How is my sprint on cooldown? I used it to get away from the... I used it to get away from that pack when we got to resist on the distract. Of course, not checking my cooldowns, which is a mistake that gets me killed the most is not doing a safety check before a pull, seeing what I'm missing. So we'll get there. Luckily we have spires, so that's good. A mimic from Dark Souls managed to get into your SV. There you go. Rip. Yes, power booster. Rip indeed. We rip and we run. That's how we do it. Try some of these Chinese cookies. My aircon sucked 5 liters of water out of the air yesterday. That's how humid it is over here. Last week it was humidity was 80%. Absolutely insane. So it's cooling down the room nicely. I don't know if you noticed when I got up there to go off screen for a minute that my hoodie is actually like rolled up a couple of rolls so that the aircon blows on my bare back as I'm sitting down here to cool me down. But that's the lengths we're going to over here to maintain. Alright, we're not doing the first chest because we need to wait for our belt and our boots. But we can do this chest. It's locked, so we're going to just do the bog standard river run. But if it's unlocked, you can just pull them back here. Blind, gouge, shiv, cripple, and then sprint back to the chest. And that works for that chest and for that one over there as well. So we've got 2 new metas for 3 different chests. We can combat chest the first one now, and we can do that multi-CC sprint on unlock chests up here, which is nice. It cuts the time, it shaves a good bit off the time, because normally with these 2 chests we always do it this way. And if I had have pulled them, if it was unlocked, and I had have with my gun when I pulled, I'd already be unlocking the chest now. So that's nice. Even after, what's it been? We're in August now, 6 months. Released in February. Came in here week 1. Did all the theory crafting and testing, and then managed to get the farm down a couple of weeks later. So March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, 6 months. So we're going to do this thing here where we target him and then we shadow step and we can get past him. We're going to blind, gouge. When I was running this in Bloodfang, the gouge would often miss because we didn't have enough hit. So I stopped running it in Bloodfang and just went with like my literal BIS gear. Parts from obviously the gloves, the belt, the boots, and NG trinket. Although we were a little bit late, so if we get a failure, yeah, that's annoying. Well, our belt and boots are up. And we have prep, so let's go and get the first chest. And then we'll come back up here and we'll get that one. This is the thing about SV, it's unforgiving. You know, if I pulled a mob by mistake in Mana Tombs, you just kill them. You know. Actually, no. We're not going to get this chest, and I'll tell you why. Because we've used an elixir of water walking. And if we NG pull it, we are going to lose that because we're going to get hit. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to pull this one again. And then get the mines and the moats. And then we can run back along the river and get that chest. Nine minutes into the run, we've made 4 gold. This might be the slowest start in history. I don't have 112k, that's what I've farmed, but I spent a lot of it. So we're pretty ahead of the pack here. We've got plenty of time. We're going to wait for him to pass. And I'll answer those questions now when I crack the chest. This is good. Alright, ready for BT. You need Shadow Res for BT or they nerfed it. They're not going to nerf Mother Shiraz. It will be in post-nerf, but you're still going to need your Shadow Res for Mother Shiraz. However, there's 2 methods. Like, there's 2 methods for that. The Shadow Res method, or if you're a rogue, you can do it another way, but it's not advisable unless like your guild knows what they're doing or you're kind of running it clean and you know what you're doing. But basically it's, you have your full DPS set. Your neck is dependent of Shadow's End, which is a dual crafting neck that has an on-use effect that absorbs, I know it's like 1500 to 2100 shadow damage, something like that. Kind of like a healing potion where you just get a random amount of absorb out of it. You have that on your neck, and then what you do is if you get hit by her ability and you get teleported, you get the chains in between 3 of you, and you have to break away from those people as to gain distance, and then they'll break after a certain distance. So as a rogue, if you get teleported, you use your trinket, you macro the 3 of them together. You use your neck, sorry, not trinket. You use the neck to absorb shadow damage. You use Cloak of Shadows. It won't remove the debuff, but it will mitigate some of the incoming damage. So between those 2, you mitigate a lot of the damage. And then the third thing you have macroed into it is your rocket boots. So you hit all those 3 at once with 1 button, and your rocket boots just take you very quickly in a direction that's away from the other 2, so you can break the chains. That's if you get tellied. If you're unlucky and you get tellied again, then you can use your Nigh Invulnerability belt. This one to absorb 4000 damage. It does work on magic damage. I've tested it in Mana Tombs on the Darkcasters that Shadow Word pain you. And you pop the belt and you'll just see above your thing here, absorb, absorb, absorb on the tick. So it will work for Mother Shiraz. So for the second one, you use that. And you use a, shadow protection potion that absorbs shadow damage, and you use your sprint instead of your boots. The only thing that can go wrong in that instance is if your belt backfires and it puts that hunter's mark symbol above your head, And instead of getting a 4k shield, you get a debuff that actually increases the amount of damage you take, which would not be ideal. You know, it wouldn't be a good day if that happened. So that's the best option for speedrunners or higher level guilds, or guilds in which you're clearing her confidently and competently, and you can do that. I am going to speak to the leadership in my guild about that strat. I would like to try that on the first night. Because it would be really nice to just absolutely pump and see, try and get, you know, a really nice parse on the first Mother Shiraz. And I have all of the gear required for that. And I definitely know how to use a cooldown or two and a macro or two in tricky situations, because this is basically what all of this is. So these farms are, SV in particular, MT is good as well for just, especially if you have lower gear. MT is really good practice for raid for certain things, because you need to have really good timing on all of your cooldowns, and you need to use them at the right spot at a moment's notice. Your blind, your cloak of shadows, your cheap shot, your vanish, your shadow steps. And in here, it's less combat orientated, but again, macros, timing, situations, all of that is good practice for shenanigans like the Mother Shiraz thing. So you'll be much more confident with your keybinds, with your macros, and being in high pressure situations where you're like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? And you push your button and you're good. So I think we will distract these guys. Hopefully hitting the lamppost is not this. It's an engineer straight away. So we want to gouge him. It's always useful if you can do that. We did get netted. Holy shit, we got netted again. Oh my god. And we got the debuff. Did you see that? Mate. This is why I like having free action potions. Like, look at this. This macro I'm using. Cast evasion. Cast 9 vulnerability belt. Use free action potion, we don't. Use charm of alacrity and Morrow's pocket watch. We don't need the charm anymore because we have over 100% dodge with Morrow's pocket watch. The free action potion we don't need to use because we have improved sprint, which removes the net. And you saw that when I popped my second macro, cast sprint and use rocket boots. So we cast sprint. Whenever you hit this macro, it casts sprint, which removes the net. And then you burst out with your boots. But you saw how quickly I got re-netted by the engineer there. So you have to have this up then, but it still scuffs the pull. This is why I like to have... free action potions. Somebody did comment under one of my videos today. He was like, hey, I found a new way to do... Because this version of it with the improved sprint and the PvP trinket, something I had used a few months ago, tested it out, and this was happening, so I just bought free actions. But now I'm using it again, and he was like, oh, I found a new way to do the pulls. You just use the engineering trinket. Sorry, you just use improved sprint. I save loads of money on cons and I never die. And when I was with him all the way up until he said I never die. And I was like, I don't know if you've been doing this long. You know, it's like if he was to say sometimes you get double netted, or, you know, it's tricky because this can happen. But when he was like, I'm making loads of money and I never die, it's like, I feel like the guy's been doing it for a little while maybe and got lucky and has a lot of experience doing those pulls over a long period of time, because that happens often enough And he didn't mention anything about the PvP trinket either. But I did message him back and say, you figured it out. This is good. You should use the PvP trinket as well so you don't get double netted. But yeah, it's an annoying pull, to be honest. We're going to long pull this one then. Which means we'll distract these guys now. Ah, she got... Okay. We'll just do it like this then. She resisted. If she resists, she's the leader, and the other two will just go back up with her anyway. I'm going to pull here. And we'll just shadow step straight through them. They get dazed, just turn around. You still got your 100% evasion up. Just do a cloak in case one of the sorceresses is on the edge. They can... If you pop a water walking and they hit you with a spell, they can knock it off, which is annoying. So, and that's up, and you never need to use it again. If you ever do need to use it again, you'll have plenty of time. It'll be up by the time you're near any mobs. Whoa, 75 viewers. That's insane. I've never had that many viewers before. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. That's awesome. Feeling pretty good about that now. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, what's the best way to handle the Shadow Res gear situation for Rogue with engineering? I answered that a minute ago, so hopefully you got that. Are you in PvP gear or it's raid gear? This is raid gear, full base tier, almost full base. I'm missing DST and Belt of 100 Deaths and the Season 2 Arena Weapon. Shit, I'm gonna die here, am I? Not today. Let's hit a potion. Blind. Gouge. And let's see if we can get back here. Oh, I can't swim speed potion. Yeah, we're not getting that chest. They're gonna be back at the chest by the time I swim around to it. They're coming that way. Unless... Ooh, maybe I'll get one crack at it. Maybe. I can use my boots here. So let's do that as soon as I get up. Let's shadow step. Vanish. Click. Hey, come on now. Client, Blizzard, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Alright. We got Twin Spires, I think. Nope, we lost it. Well, we had a great MT first run, couple of runs, and a really good lockout for gold per hour, but this first SV is being brutal. How many have we done? 1. Nuts. Well, I can answer some questions now. So yeah, it's raid gear, but I have a couple of items. You want the gloves for lockpicking so that you don't get failures on chests as often. 9 vulnerability belts so you can do the NG pulls. Rocket boots so you can do the NG pulls. PvP trinket so that you don't get, for when you get netted by the engineers, double netted. I also have a gnomish cloaking device in my bag always because it's a free vanish every 60 minutes. It's a really, really good item and it still works. And you can use it obviously in combat. It's like a vanish. It's so, so good. Morrow's Lucky Pocket Watch. With this and the current gear that we have, when we cast evasion, I have this macro to it. You have 100. I have 101% dodge, so nothing hits me, which allows you to allow them to stack up on you. So you can just grenade and stun them in place, and then boots out of there and crack the chest. Yeah, but you can do this naked. I have there's an older VOD of me doing this naked just to prove that it can be done naked. But you don't do the NG pulls, you just long pull all of them. But it's obviously the margin for error is much bigger. You can get, if you get dazed or clattered by a mob, you'll just get deleted if a pack catches up to you. So, you know, but with this one, you've got all sorts of options if you're in full gear. I've got 2 rogues on different accounts. Manitombs is by far better to do. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you can do 2, I hit 10 lockouts in 30 to 40 minutes. That's a little bit sketch. I'm gonna call a little bit of BS on that, because like I don't have DST, but I'm in full raid gear and I know how to rogue and do the most amount of damage you can possibly do. And I currently clear it when I'm locked in and not making mistakes because I'm chatting or whatever. When I'm just in the zone and playing on my own, I'll do a clear in about 35 minutes. If you're saying you can do it in 30 minutes, 10 lockouts, that means you're doing all 5 runs in 15 minutes, which is just not possible, brother. The only way that would be possible is if you're only getting the chests and you're not getting the mines. If that's the case, cool. But the mines are worth about half of the value of the farm, so you're leaving money on the table. What would be better to do there would be get your I'm just stubborn. I'm not going without this chest. What would be best to do there would be do mana tombs, open both the chests, and get as many mines as you can in the amount of time that it takes you to get it to 30 minutes. You want to get it to 30 minutes so you can jump over to the other rogue and do the same. The chests and the mines are worth about the same, but you'd put it on the chest because you can get gems and stuff like that. So get your 5 lockouts down to 30 minutes by ignoring a vein here or there in your mana tombs, log over, and then do the same thing with your second rogue. And that's going to be the best you can squeeze out a TBC with a rogue in terms of gold per hour, 100%. "25 seconds. We're in the right set. We're in the right gear. We're going to wait for these guys to come down, and then we're going to pull, and hopefully we'll get this chest." The second rogue doesn't have mining. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, 100%. Full base, you can do it in 30 minutes, your 5 lockouts, and then the second rogue can just go in and get the chests. Yep, 100. I would imagine also that you're either a human, so you get extra expertise, which means you do about 300 more DPS than I do when you're bursting packs, or you're a orc with Blood Fury, is it called? Or you're a troll with berserking. Either of those 3 races is basically has, well, it's for the humans it's passive, but with the horde ones you basically have a free racial trinket, which adds to your burst, which means you can kill those packs like a fair bit quicker. But yeah, that's a really, really nice method. Like solid way to make gold. The best way to make gold. I have a second account. This one got banned in the pre-patch after I farmed Spine Sever. And my account got flagged because I had Spine Sever on the auction house in the pre-patch. And a lot of people didn't like that. There we got netted. So I got reported. And then I made the stupid mistake of posting a YouTube link to the farm guide in trade chat, and my account was red hot from all the flags from finding the world first Spine Sever, and people thought I was hacking, but obviously I hadn't broken TOS, and so Blizzard couldn't do anything about it. But as soon as I posted the link into YouTube, I got insta-banned for 10 days. So I made a second account because I had to make the content and farms and the Zogrub farm and whatever. And I didn't want somebody else to beat me to it. So I do have a second account with a level 60 Blood Elf female rogue in full blue 60 PvP gear and rank 14 weapons. And I was considering doing that, switching over and just doing double mana tombs. But I decided against it because, number 1, I'm not going to have any money issues. Number 2, just double mana tombs as content to stream is a little bit dull. it would get boring pretty quick. And switching between SV and MT to finally show people the truth of which one is more gold per hour is much more interesting. So it's losing 20 gold again. Yeah. Is all this worth the extra brain power? Somebody asked. This was a very, very bad first run. They're normally a lot smoother than this. I like it because I developed a lot of this farm. So I just enjoy that kind of the shenanigans and being able to do this kind of stuff, and also the fact that there's so much in this game that still hasn't been discovered yet, and there's new innovations that can be made that can push classes and gold farms beyond what other people thought was possible after 20 years, and that in itself is a very I just think that's cool. There's so much yet that we can do. So it's a very enjoyable experience for me to come in here and run this farm. A lot of people will say just do mana tombs, but that gold per hour difference is quite significant. And see, here's me chatting, and now I'm going to gouge him. I don't want to waste my blind because I actually don't have my belt or my boots up. So I'm not going to waste any of my stuff. I'm just going to go out and reset it, and we'll get that on the way out. It's worth the brain power for me. It's very enjoyable. And when you get a nice flow, it's just, it's wicked smooth. It's fine. It's more RNG dopamine in here as well. You can get chests out of both of them, or gems out of both of the instances, but you can get like level 70 protection gear out of the chests here, bisque gear, which adds another kick to it. And you can get epics from here. At least I know for sure it's possible to get epics from these mobs when you kill them, and we do have a couple of combat packs here, so you can brain dead mana tombs all day, no problem. I love mana tombs as well. I'm not shitting on mana tombs. I love it. I run harp spec in mana tombs, and I've just fallen in love with that spec for that dungeon this time around. So I enjoy going into mana tombs like as much as SV, I'd say almost as much. But if someone put a gun to my head and asked me to choose which one you could farm for the rest of TBC, if you could only farm one, it would be SV for sure. What loot are you chasing from the chests? The best we can get is living rubies. It's possible to get 2 living rubies out of one chest. You can get double the same gem. I've never gotten it, but a number of rogues on the Rogues Diary Discord have posted their lockbox loot showing double rubies. I got double noble topaz from Mana Tombs on stream 2 days ago. That was really nice in one chest. That was really nice. And I got double dawnstone before, and I think I got a double night's eye. And I've had many chests where I've gotten 2 gems, but they were different gems. It's just super, super rare to get a chest that has 2 gems in it, and then for the gems to be the same type is exceptionally rare. And then of the types you can get, living ruby is the holy grail. So that one's locked. Hold on. I didn't get the mines of the moats from the last run. Did I? I didn't get the oh no, I did. I'm retarded. Never mind. We're out of water walking, so we're just going to use swimmers. But they're good. I like them. They're fine. Let's mark him up so we can see him when he's underneath us. Not sure if we got the mark off there, but I think we'll hit it now. Should be alright. Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Best way to use 2 rogues is what? Rogue 1 mines and Rogue 2 gets the chest on different lockouts? No, this was 2 rogues on 2 different accounts. Mana Tombs is best. You burst out, you go in, you burst out 5 runs, and try to get it as close to 30 minutes as you can. And then you log on your second rogue and you do the same. And then you're... I mean, look at the gold per hour. The gold per hour from Mana Tombs. That's not the that's not the gold per hour average that it says that you would get if you could do, you know, the 5 runs. It's actually it's actually the gold that we got at the end of 5 lockouts, which is half an hour. What? Ah, that's so annoying. How are we gonna do this? I think we'll do this. Could we possibly kill her? Is it only her? No, we've pulled everybody else as well. So there's a safe spot down here, which we're going to try and get to. I can show you how that works. We just have to get there in 26 seconds. Because they're going to come... Nah, we're dead here. Unless we do this. And then do that. We're dead here. Pretty scuffy SVs so far. Very, very bad. Different accounts, yeah. Yeah, in MT on different accounts. That would be the best gold per hour. But if you just have one rogue, and you can only... The best gold per hour is SV. You lose, like, up here. It's 383 gold. If you go all, it depends on your server. This is for my server. People often ask me, what's the gold per hour? How much gold per hour am I going to get? And it's kind of a moot, like, question. It's not, it's dependent on your economy, how much the assets you're getting from the farmer selling on your server, how much the consumables cost on your server. It's a totally different value for you than it will be for me. And that's not because the farm changes. It's because the market's different on your server. So I can never answer that question for people, and it's just not a realistic question to ask. But on my server, we're currently at, like, you know, 75 gold more. Elixir of Water Walking go up and down quite wildly. So I bought a stack of them for 1 gold each on my server, and that's amazing because usually you'll use 5 of them in an hour. And you might use 7 if you have some scuffy pulls or you have a really bad lockout like this one here. But that's like 7 gold. And then you'll use frost grenades, but if you can't afford them or they're too expensive, you can use fell iron bombs. And it depends how much they are on your server. But on my server at the minute, they're quite expensive. These are 2 gold each. But you don't always have NG chests in every run. But again, you can do it without these. I just like to use them because I don't mind taking the cut on money. I have more money than I'll ever need. Like my investments, I have 1,148 haze pots. You know, and stacks and stacks of ore in the bank. I'm not worried about money. So just for smoothness, I like to just buy the cons. But you're looking at 75, it's 75 more gold than MT. Even if you're spending 25 gold an hour, that's 50 gold extra. You know, and 50 gold into 300 is 6, which is about 17% more gold. So we still haven't gotten both chests. Holy, this is crazy. This is like the worst. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. That's all right. Probably the worst example of the gameplay and the farm, and yet I have a record-breaking 86 viewers, which is the most I've ever had. So I'm feeling like with one auspicious and one drooping eye. I got mixed emotions. I'm like, I love having this many viewers. It's so great. Welcome everybody, by the way. But I've played so badly and got so unlucky that it makes the farm look like dog shit. But yeah, we spent I spent 65,000 gold in the first few months. Multiple professions. On this character, profession changes like costs thousands of gold, right, to switch over to like engineering or something and level it all up. So multiple profession changes, buying flying mount on multiple characters, epic flying, making the NG flying mount, buying the Cenarian Expedition flying mount, 2 blink strikes just to test all of the pre-raid BIS and any BIS bits of gear that I could buy as soon as it was released in phase 2, for example, with things like the engineering goggles, and buying Belt of Deep Shadow like very early into its release. Yeah, I'm using 30 haze pots every night in raid, absolutely smashing my consumables, because why else are you buying them? Why else are you doing this kind of stuff? So that you can have everything you ever wanted and play the best to the best of your ability. So just absolutely spent like, yeah. Oh, and I spent 10,000 gold leveling a second rogue to 70. So we went through the money pretty quickly. And then we just went and farmed more of it. A 2-tap Fel and a 2-tap Addy and 3 motes of water. Those are the worst RNG rolls you can get on all 3 of those assets. This is nuts. 35 minutes in and we haven't even gotten the one of the chests from the second run. This is crazy. Crazy bad. So sometimes, I'm just going to see if it works here. No, it didn't work. Sometimes you can shadow step behind him, turn and run, and he won't aggro, which is insane. I've had it happen twice in like well over 1,000 runs at this stage. But apparently there's a heartbeat aggro system whereby there's a very short period of time where you can be beside a mob within aggro range, but it won't actually aggro. Like we're talking milliseconds, tens of milliseconds. And we shadow step to this mob and many of the mobs in here every single run. And I often shadow step to that one because I'm doing the pull, and I'll do it out of stealth often. And we've had that happen twice, where we shadow step behind him out of stealth and he hasn't pulled. Okay, that feels like it's enough time. I think we hit the swim pot too early the last time. And we came along here, and the pathing, the mobs will change their path depending on which is the fastest route to get to you. So that's why the spellcaster came up early. Because the chicks, the spellcasters, are slower. They move slower than the male models or male NPCs. So they're often trailing behind, which means that if you cross a point where it would recalculate the distance to you and it comes out that this is faster to come around here, the females will actually be more likely to be the ones that are coming back at you. But we're looking like pretty good here. Okay. We got plenty of time now. You just have to be careful that they come around this corner. There, like that. Oh, I still haven't done the... I almost got it once, but it's just a little personal challenge. 2 chests, 1 pull is the challenge. And it's best if it's this chest and that one up there. You basically pull them, run up here, shadow step shenanigans, pull that chest, run down into the water, and wait for them to come down. But the chain of mobs is so long then that when you come up, when you are coming around into the water and coming up the ramp, you need your timing to be absolutely perfect, because when you come up, you need them to be behind you. Then you get that chest, and then you go down the ramp to get that chest. But if you're too far ahead, the tail end of this chain of mobs will just come back up the other way. And we'll get to this chest before you get it. But we got it. Oh, every time. Don't want to get dazed. You see, just spin around and turn. All right, we'll come back in. I think I'm not in stealth. As I'm walking and talking, I think I'm not in stealth. And then I see, like, I'm thinking about what I'm saying, and then I look down, I see mobs either side of me, and I'm like, oh shit, let me stealth real quick. And then I come out of stealth and do that. Right, let's get this chest. And reset. Let me see. Fair play then, I'm only level 48 playing my first TBC rogue. Nice. Well, you picked a fantastic class. People shit on rogues a lot in this expansion, but we're actually OP. We're really, really good in heroics. We're one of the best, if not the best gold farmers in the game as solo account, not, you know, 2 mage boosting SL stuff. SV, I'm not sure if SV is beaten by any other gold farm as a solo gold farm. I don't think it is. And if it is, okay, whatever. I think in Zul'Gurub, mages can farm. We got 24 seconds to wait for Vanish, so we'll do that. So we're really good in heroics. We're really good in... We're still very good in raid. We also bring exposed armor. Obviously, the better you are as a rogue, the more value you're going to add, but... but we're still really good DPS. I mean, the difference between DPS in Classic, between the best DPS classes, which are Warrior and Rogue, and the worst DPS classes, like Rep Pallies or Feral Druids or Shadow Priests, the difference in DPS between those, the worst and the best, is massive compared to TBC. The difference between the worst and the best in TBC is a much, much lower amount of DPS. So if you're in the middle of the pack, which technically rogues are, the difference in DPS between you and the best DPS is not that huge compared to Classic. But there's just a lot of rogue hate out there, and people look for an excuse not to take a rogue or shit on rogues. But it's also such a unique class. I mean, the stealth farms and stealth are just so good. So you will have fun, and you picked a great time to be a rogue, because in Wrath, you better believe we've got the most fun stuff coming. We're the best AoE DPS class in the game in Wrath of the Lich King. We also have access to the best gold farm in the game, and the stuff we can do. And we're also incredibly good single target DPS. So like, we're S tier on every level in Wrath. It's going to be so, so good. And engineering in Wrath is just a different beast altogether. It's absolutely... engineering is amazing and so much fun in every Classic game of the Classic canon, of the Holy Trinity, as it were. But Wrath engineering is just It's just unbelievable. It's the best version. It's so, so good. Yeah, this is really risky and I shouldn't be doing this. That water alley, you really want them to be back in that kind of alcove bit so that when you get to the chest, he's not on top of you with his mobs, but we're just going to hope that we can distract him. Yeah, this is fine. Just have to be mindful of that one, but we're alright. And it's unlocked, so it's an easy crack. We did get a resist there. Alright, my god, let's get out of this first reset and get into the next run. What is he doing? I have never seen that before in over 1,000 runs. What madness is this? Bro, lay off the mushrooms. Look at him. What if we sap him? We can't sap him. What if we shoot him? Is he in evade state? Probably. Oh, he despawned. Alright. Okay, crazy. I was proud of my little 300 gold. Hey, go to MT, you'll make it every hour. Come to SV, you'll make even more. How do you even get that many haste pots? You farm MT and SV, and you take the gold from the farm, and you immediately buy haste pots at 15 gold. And then you keep buying them. And when Sunwell comes and they're like 25 gold, we almost double our money. Alright, this chest again. It's not locked again, but we need to wait for our gadgets. So we'll keep moving. You're safe from him here. We're safe from him. And you just have to distract these guys. There's no rich addies or fell. There's no rich fell in the game in general, but you can get rich addies in MT. But you can't get them in here. But what you do get in here is 2 of each, which means you have double the chance of spawning a corium, which isn't that great as a raw at the moment, as a raw ore in terms of how much it's worth. Addies are still worth more, but it has slightly higher drop rates from taps for gems. You get a lot more green gems out of corium, and the chance to get a blue is much higher. Please tell me it's a combat chest. I would love that so much. Either way, it's going to be a great chest, because if it's not locked, I can show you the people who haven't seen it before the click vanish trick, which is one of my favorite tricks that I learned this time around. What the hell? What the hell? Did I miss it? Am I going blind in my old age? Yeah, there it is. That's not locked. Okay, I can show you the new method for this one then. So we want crippling on our offhand. And I'm pretty sure we have blind up, so we're just going to pull now. If they're unlocked, this is a much faster way to do these chests. So we're going to blind the first one. We're going to gouge the second one. We're going to shiv. We're going to sprint, shiv. That's not good. Okay, we got dazed, so that's scuffed. But yeah, it's blind, gouge. We got netted straight away. Blind, gouge, shiv, shiv, sprint breaks the net, and then you usually zoom out, step to this guy, and then you get to the chest, vanish, and you can open it before they get back. But I got dazed. I've never got dazed on that chest before, but we just got shown this technique by someone on stream 3 days ago, so we're still learning it really and ironing out the creases. So let's get the mines and the moats. The pressure, yeah, big pressure. Today's stream is all about showing you guys how not to do it. You're so right. In Flames, you're so right. This is the worst example. This is the worst example, I think, of any of my streams. Do you plan to sell the haze pots when the price goes up, or do you stack them now, just save gold later when the price goes up? Yeah, I'm just stacking them now. Both. Samwise said it best. Yeah. You know, I can let a few go if I want to get something in later phases that costs money that I don't have. But I could just make the money from the gold farm and have it sitting there on my character. But it's not worth that much because I'm spending it on raid cons, and the raid cons are going up with inflation. Or I can put it into cons that I know are going to go up in price because they've gone up in price historically in every single version of TBC. And I know from playing Classic and Wrath from 2006 that they always go up. And there are more people playing Wrath this time around, or TBC this time around, than there were, I think, 4 years ago. More people raiding anyway. So it's very popular, and Classic Plus is just around the corner. So yeah, they're definitely going up. Harp swords or harp maces? Great question. I have never harped maces, but I would love to do it. If you harp maces in MT, you'd be stunning them left, right, and center. You'd be hitting them and stunning them so much. It would probably give you more survivability if you stun the dark casters, for example. For a 3 second stun. If you stun those dark casters for 3 seconds, I don't know if damage breaks the stun or if you just clobber through it, because I've never actually played the stun maces spec on Rogue. But if you can damage the mob and it still doesn't break the stun, you're going to get a lot less of the DOTs. There's something called Singe that you get off the first packs. That's a DOT. We don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It does hit for a lot, but those first packs are fairly easy. But if you're in low gear, it can kill you for sure. It's the second worst DOT. The worst DOT is Darkcaster's Shadow Word Pain in terms of the amount of damage it does to you and the frequency that they cast it on you in a fight. So you need to save your cloak for that and kill them quickly. Then you have like the poison from the melee mobs later on in the dungeon, and then you've got like immolates from the casters, which aren't really a big deal. But the immolate, if I've ever gotten killed by it, I don't remember it. But the other ones I've gotten killed by before. Just way less with the poison. It's not that big a deal. It's a rare, very rare occurrence that you get killed by that. I haven't gotten killed by that in months. That was not in this gear, you would. But the Shadow Word Pain, you can. So if you had maces up and you're hitting, you're blade flurrying, you're riposting, every one of those hits has a chance to stun the mob. So I would imagine that mobs will be getting stunned quite a lot. And if you're stunning a mob that can DOT you, you're just going to clobber it down by the time it comes out of the stun, or it's just going to reduce the amount of DOTs you get. So it'll definitely increase survivability. And if you had 2 really nice maces, it would absolutely slap. But you'd miss out on sword spec. Although if you have a mace in your main hand, you could do it, but you'd have to modify your harp. You'd have to modify your harp spec. Because you'd want maces as well as sword spec. because your offhand, your Latros or season 1 or season 2 or whatever you've got is going to proc sword spec. But when you proc sword spec, what actually happens is it tells your character to do an extra attack with your main hand weapon. So it's your main hand weapon that actually attacks when you get sword spec, and it doesn't have to be a sword. The only problem is that if you're wearing a mace, one of your swords, you get flat 5% from this. But if you had 2 swords, you're getting 5% from each sword. So you would want to have a very good mace to justify using sword spec if you couldn't get your hands on a better sword. If you don't have Talon, or you don't have, something big, and you have a very big mace, like Rod of the Sun King or something like that, then I would go mace spec for sure. Let's do this again and try to do it properly. But I use harp. 5 gifted. Holy shit. Who gave me 5? This is like years ago. I'm so bad at keeping up with the chat. I'm dying. And I'm losing all this juicy chat magic. Whoever gifted 5 subs, you're a legend. Thank you so much. And we got clobbered by this guy again. Okay, let's get out of here. Pretty sure we shivved them all. Oh, we killed their crab. Poor crab. And we should. It's not locked yet. We'll get this, no problem. Ooh. That was a little bit hairy. Now let me check my swag. We got that one, Addy Fell, Motor Water, Addy Fell, Dragon Hawk of the Beast. I think that's it. No, we're missing the first chest on the way out. Yeah. We couldn't get it because our boots and belt were on cooldown. So someone gave me, or gave the community 5 gifted. You're a legend. Much love. Thank you so much. That means an awful lot to me. I'm a very young streamer / YouTuber. I'm growing, but so these things are really, really big. Somebody rated me, like my Twitch made a new sound, and I was like, I haven't heard that sound before. That's cool. And I looked at it, and somebody had rated me with like, I don't know how many people, like 30 people or something. And that just brought a big smile to my face. Like, I'd never been rated before. That's so cool, you know? So yeah. Much appreciate the gifted subs. Stealth, and I cancel or a stealth macro. Yeah, I haven't. I set up stream elements so I could do these commands. But it started telling people to stop writing really long messages, so I just turned it off, like literally like half an hour ago. So this is how newbie I am with streaming and stuff. I'm still getting all the stuff set up, so I will have those kinds of. I will get stream elements or some other chatbots sorted out for you guys, so you can do that stuff soon, and not be such an amateur. Oh shit. Just go this way. They saw me, but I still managed to go into stealth. That's crazy. Well, we got it. We got a gem and we got a chest guard of the Darkstalker. So that's good. But yeah, way more deaths in these runs than is normal. We can reset now. That was the last chest and we got everything anyway, so no big deal. Let's reset and we got 2 more lockouts. I don't really like that. TBC Rogue hate is warrior propaganda to remove glaive competition. Ooh, I like that. I like that theory. I like that a lot. But warriors, I mean, they don't get as much hate, but there's. I don't know why they're not as desirable. I mean, they do such good damage as well. And I tell you, there's been such an influx of ego paladins who think they make a paladin and they're tanking heroics, and they just, the attitude on them is so bad. It's just so bad. They're rude, dismissive, demanding. I'm not saying all of them, but like there's just this. I'm a paladin and I'm a tank, so I can just be a dickhead, and you just have to lap it up because you need me and I don't need you. I can't stand those players. I cannot stand them. But they all just quit the game. Like they all like the amount of paladin tanks like up for heroics now is just dropped off a cliff. And it's all of those people, the types I mentioned. There's still obviously great paladin tanks out there, but a lot of warrior tanks came online over the last couple of months, and I really like them. I have to say, there's a lot of veteran warrior tanks out there who are really good tanks, and I've been enjoying. When I see a warrior tank now going into a heroic, I'm like, this is great. At the start, at launch, I was like, no, I don't like this. I want a druid for single target threat, or I want a paladin for AoE. But warriors were generally not getting the job done as well. But after all the dickhead ego tanks, paladin tanks left, and warriors have come back online, all those ones have been really good, and I've been really enjoying having them as tanks. It's really, really good. Don't like drama, but No Hit Your Own really made the rogues the scapegoat for TVC. Yeah, I don't know. Literally, the last no-hit piece of content I watched was a short just there, like, before I started streaming, saying it's really hard to get into raids as rogue, but they're absolutely incredible. They're really good in heroics and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. So, I don't know. No Hit Jerome will say anything to get views. You know what I mean? He's an opinion piece for the community at large, basically. And I know a lot of people don't have much respect for him, but like, I admire his grift. Like, he's consistent. He's got like this crazy unique voice and this crazy unique look, and he just non-stop fires out content. He's a workhorse. The amount of content he puts out is genuinely impressive. And some of it might be fairly sloppy and like red top, in terms of, if you want to break it down like the old newspaper framing, black tops are the more seriously taken newspapers, and the red tops are kind of this guy again. The red tops are more like just superfluous, over the top, not to be taken too seriously newspapers. And he kind of fires out that kind of content, and just anything that anybody's saying, whether it's an opinion, yay or nay on something, he'll put both sides out there just because it's content. So it is what it is. But hey, I'm still sub to him. I'll still watch the odd video here and there. But I mean, if there's one content creator I love the most, there's two content creators that I really love. Simon Ice, because he's such a good rogue, and I learned so much from him. And Willie is like the David Attenborough of World of Warcraft. His videos, his voice, his work ethic, the videos he puts out are well thought out. His visuals, like, he's top tier now. I'm running skinning and leatherworking. Should I be doing something else? If you want to be making money and you're a rogue, you should be mining and engineering. And you can still do engineering and enchanting are the best DPS PvE specs for rogue, professions for rogue. But running enchanting means that you have to give up mining, which means you can't do these two farms, which are the best gold farms. So, and the only reason enchanting is engineering gives you access to, mainly it's bombs, but you also get the goggles, which are BIS before you get the tier headpiece from this phase. I literally just used my fat fingered my evasion. So we're just going ham here. We're going for the long pull. Because we have to now, because we don't have evasion. We can't let all those mobs stack on top of us. But enchanting, the only reason we want enchanting is for the rings. Striking +2 on both rings gives you like somewhere between 10 and 15 extra DPS, which is basically like upgrading a ring from phase 1 to phase 3. We got the surges in the pull, so we got to do that again. I've been debating whether or not to switch to engineering because I do like to parse and I'm trying to be a bit min-maxy, but I'm not in like a dedicated parsing guild, and there's a couple of bosses that we don't do parsing pulls on, so I have like 96.1 BPA in SSC and TK, so it's almost all legendary parses. I got a couple of 99s. But there's 2 bosses that are still 91. Lithoris, the Blind, and Solarian, because there's parsing strats for those bosses that we don't run in my guild, for example. So I'm not sure I want to give up mining just so that I can get an extra 10 or 15 DPS if I'm not going to be able to leverage that extra DPS. As much as I would if I was like in a full-on sweaty parsing guild. And I love the guild I'm in. I really, really enjoy and respect the leadership. They're really, really good. And the guild is full of really solid players. So I'm super, super happy where I am. And I want to keep mining because of this stuff, right? Money, money, money. You know, and we might make, like I'm definitely gonna make a DK in Wrath, an unholy DK. And I'm going to keep this rogue, obviously. But there's also potentially the idea of putting the feelers out and see if there's any speedrunning guilds or progression guilds that are kind of like pretty competitive. Putting the feelers out and seeing if there would be a spot for me in one of those on either American servers or EU, because I live in East China now, and I have respectable ping to both regions because I use a booster, and just to have one character or splits like 2 characters of the same, and then raid once a week or twice a week with them. I would do that, and then raid with the guild that I'm with now on my other character or 2. I would do that. So we'll see closer to Wrath, because I would like to have that experience of being in one of those full-on, like, let's do all the shenanigans guilds where everybody's just playing to the best of their ability and just putting in. It's a lot of time and effort, like. So that's why a lot of people don't want to do it, but I would love to give it a go. Your opinion on farming AQ20 larva mobs for idols and scarabs in WoW Classic? Yeah, I remember what's his face put out a video, put a guide on that. I did go in there and I farmed them for a little bit, but it's heavily RNG. It's kind of like the Dark Rune farm. I'm actually gonna... Oh, we need to wait 25 seconds. Wait. Everything's up. We just need our vanish and we're good. So let's do that. Let's just be patient. I farmed it and it just wasn't as consistent as, say, Dire Maul East herb farming, or the Zul'Gurub stealth farming, where you can get the arcane crystals from the Hakari mining nodes in Zul'Gurub, and you can get all of the nodes. That was my first video showing people how to mine every node in the instance. Obviously, some of them you wouldn't want to get because they're just way more hassle than they're worth, but you can still get most of them. Or you could, instead of doing engineering and mining, you could do mining and herb. Then you could get like half the nodes in the instance, but you can get Bloodvine as well, which is huge. Okay, we're getting this time. We're doing it. So my opinion on it is it's not an S tier gold farm for rogues in WoW Classic, but an interesting gold farm. Creative, fun, always worth doing something like that once. We can actually step to the back of these and then vanish after we create distance. Now we're good. Uh-oh, we'll be okay, I think. Yeah. Nice one, that's an LPS. Heading over to MT right now with harp maces, class. Hey, Lowston, let me know how you get on. Let me know how you get on. That would be sick. What's your gear like? Are you in PvP gear? Is it blue gear, season 1 gear, season 2 gear? Do you have full bis? Is it phase 1 bis, phase 2 bis for PvE gear? And what maces are you rocking? I'm doing maces with Hodge. I still have my Hodge. I couldn't let it go. I bought a second Blink Strike just for the lols, and I equipped both of them, and I tried to blink max my character out to see if I could, like, Wind Fury, 2 Blink Strikes, Hodge, Sword Specialization. I just wanted to see if I could get the Apocalypse, you know, the Prockenheimer, just unbelievable number of procs procking off themselves, and just get some kind of god tier parse. I did one Carol like that. It didn't work out, but I did see twice in this expansion so far an absolutely unbelievable god tier proc, where normally you'll see with Blink Strike, you'll see a blink and a sword spec, or a Wind Fury and a sword spec, or a Wind Fury and a blink, and you might see 3 of them or 4 of them, and sometimes you'll even see 5 of them, you know, because they can proc off each other. And if you see 3 or less, it's like just a normal proc, and if you see like 4 or 5, it's like really, it's quite rare and obviously really, really nice, and you just see those yellow lines popping out here. But twice I just saw my entire window fill up here with procs, and it was just like this absolutely 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 100,000 chance where they all procced and then procced off each other, and then the next hit of either your main hand or your offhand procced something again that procced it off the other ones, and it was just like 8 or 9 procs at once. Like the amount of damage done in that 2 or 3 seconds from the character was absolutely bonkers. So that was a lot of fun. It's locked, so we are gonna just do it old-fashioned way. How do you have so much text to scroll in game chat? Mine disappears at the window size. Scrolling. Not Ricardo can fly. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by the question. Simon has made me great at PvE, and you have made me rich. Yeah, baby. That's it. Hey, if I get put beside Simon Eyes in anyone's eyes, I'm very, very proud to say that I am. He's unreal. So thank you for that. That's a great compliment. Props to all the people who survived to listen to No Hit Jerome's voice for more than 30 seconds. Yeah. Why don't you boost a second rogue? I have a second rogue. I have a second level 70 rogue. Yeah, I suppose you're asking that in relation to the enchanting question. I do have a second rogue. He is level 70. He's got mining and engineering. They are capped out so that I can get all of the stuff in here. He has got the belt and the boots. But in order for him to be able to do mana tombs as well, I need to get him some decent weapons. So I'm either going to save up for a blink, but more than likely I'm just going to wait until you can buy the season 1 PvP swords and set with honor, which is coming in phase 3. So I'm waiting for that. And once that happens, bye-bye. Once that happens, I will transition over to him for farming. And I will make Bacon my PvE, exclusively my PvE character. But then the question is, do I go enchanting to get that extra 10 or 15 DPS from the ring enchants? Because I'm going to have to go jewel crafting in Wrath anyway. Which means I'm going to have to spend a few thousand gold leveling up enchanting, and then a few thousand gold leveling up jewel crafting for Wrath. And in phase 4 or 5, I can't remember which one, you get these 2 items from jewel crafting, which are kind of like Mother of God, are you serious? Get away from me. Jokers, you're all jokers. You are unbelievably, you're just trolling me at this stage, guys. You're trolling me. The question is, do I go enchanting just for the 10 or 15 DPS and then have to switch over to jewel crafting when the phase releases where they have the hard corium band and the choker, the corium choker, which are both like Belt of Deep Shadow. Not BIS, but just underneath BIS, and an item that you can just equip straight away in order to boost up your DPS. And those two items, being able to equip them literally on launch of that phase, if you're dual crafting maxed out, and I already have all of the materials required, like the corium ore, the addy, like I have everything I need for that. So to make those things. So those are going to be worth a lot more DPS together than the enchanting stats. But then once I get the BIS items for that slot, we're almost at the end of phase 2 and I still haven't got the belt, so it's a big if. I might not replace them. So it's probably a good shout just to go dual crafting. And if I do that, it's like, do I really want to go enchanting before that just for an extra 10 or 15 DPS for like a phase? Probably not. So I think I'll just keep mining with him anyway. But when Wrath comes, I'll be 100%. I'll be engineering and dual crafting. And then my second rogue, I'll use him to farm. Although maybe I won't. I'll be doing the Kara farm with this character probably, because you need Essence of Gossamer and all those things, and I want to get that into that farm as soon as possible. But anyway, I have a level 80 rogue on Wrath private servers now. Just super busy this week, but I will be getting the items and recording the Karazhan farm, and I heard about a Black Temple farm yesterday that I want to figure out and then record, and then I'll release those guides just when the Wrath hype is popping off, and grow the channel. That'll be good. Now this is the last reset, I believe. Yeah. It's that chest again. It's that chest again. Let's see. Gonna get my new rogue up to 70, mining engineering for gold farming, and when Wrath comes I'll drop mining, grab tailoring for BIS PvE. Tailoring isn't BIS for PvE, but it's a very good option. It's very cheap to level tailoring, it's very, very good. But BIS for PvE is 100% engineering and dual crafting. And rely on your Kara gold farming, which doesn't need mining. There you go. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you could go tailoring from the start just to be able to get the tailoring, the embroideries. It's a 400, I think it's 400 AP proc, or proc chance. You get a chance on hit to get 400 AP from your cloak, and it's not like it doesn't require that much. It's not an expensive thing to do. It's fairly easy to get, so it'd be a good option. But if you've already made a load of money from here, from TBC, which you should have by then, I would go straight for dual crafting, brother. The dual crafting specific gems in Wrath are on steroids. They're absolutely unbelievable. They're so powerful. I just have to double check which phase, but I think from the start they're BIS. But then again, who doesn't like a 400 AP proc on certain fights? Like fights like High King Malgar or something short, where like High King Malgar, where you really want a big proc like that straight away. Would be really, really big. I think I'm dead here. Super annoying. I gotta focus up. How do you feel about herb mining? Herb is not worth anything really in TBC unless you want to go looking for. You can camp the island where you can get mana thistles, or get mana thistles off like the bog guys in SSC, but I mean they're probably going to be going to your guild anyway. So herb, I wouldn't rate it. I was herb mining when I came in here in week 1 of TBC, and yeah, then I was like, I'm going to need to be engineering if I'm going to try and figure out how to get these chests. So I dropped herb. I was herbing in here for a while. You get nothing. Like the amount of money you get out of it it's nothing. It's so bad. I was lucky enough to get Spike Blade early, and I was about to buy a Blink, and when I saw all the procs on YouTube stream, it looked really fun. Maybe next time. I fell in love with Blink Strike this time around. I was farming Motes of Fire, Primal Fire. I got to 17 after 3 days. Just went up to Throne of Killiade, and there wasn't that many people there. I just farmed Nightmare Vines and Primal Fire up there. And at the end of the week, I bought the Blink Strike. The first Blink Strikes were found and put on the auction house, you know, after like 3 days or something, around the time I hit 70. But they were up there for like 18, 17,000 gold, and nobody was buying them. And then there was more and more and more of them. So there was a lot of supply versus demand, and they just kept dropping day by day as my goals kept increasing. And I knew I'd meet in the middle somewhere. And at the end of the first week, I bought Blink Strike for 6.2k, and it was the best decision I ever made. Having that going into raids week 1, or week 1 of raids, because they weren't open week 1, and just in general, and just seeing, because Blink and Sword Spec and Wind Fury can all proc off one another. It's a lot of fun. And if you look at the best DPS rogues in the world for phase 1, and you look at what they're using, you'll see some of them have Spike Blade, some of them have Blink Strike, some of them have Dragon Maw, and some of them had Hope Ender, but not that many. And the odd, very rarely, I think there was one in the top 10 that had like a Vindicator's brand or something that's an A tier sword, but not an S tier sword. But all of those 4 weapons I mentioned, Hope Ender, Blink Strike, Spike Blade, and Dragon Maw, are all within 1% DPS of each other. So Blink is the only one you can get like easily with gold. You need a profession for Dragon Maw, and you need to get it out of rage for the other 2. So it's one you can reliably get if you have the money for it from phase 1. So yeah, it's good. But if you got Spike Blade, that's fine. It's going to be as good as Blink. You can scroll through your game chat a lot, like when you check what you get from a chest. So I have these chat windows set up. This is Zen, nothing comes on it. This is generally for when I'm just farming on my own or just cruising around the game. I just like to have it nice, clean UI. Swag is just loot. Chat is like guild chat or whispers or whatever. Combat log, and then just this is all of it. My scrolling, I don't know why it's faster. I don't think I have a setting on any of my add-ons that says scroll faster, but maybe I do. Faster chat scroll, I don't know. We're actually gonna sap her. And then before we pull, we'll sap him, release her, pull, and then... Aha! That's why. I was in my PvE gear. I didn't even have my proper set. That's why I almost died on that. I did an NG pull without any NG stuff. And I still survived, which is crazy. But we're going to have to wait now for our cooldowns to come off. Will you play Wrath of the Lich King PvP mainly or PvE or both? PvE mainly because I've always been a PvE rogue, but I want to learn PvP this time around. Learning PvP is just more about learning what the class that you're up against and what you need to save your cooldowns for and trinkets for. It's about, and in order to do that, you can obviously list out the abilities as a concept, but you don't actually understand it experientially until you played against them hundreds of times. So it's something I would really like to do, but I just have so little time. I'm training Monday to Friday, like 5 hours a day. And I have content to create in my afternoon block off, and then at night I stream. So I could maybe run a PvP stream a couple of times a week, something like that. But I know it's a huge task. It would be the very start of a journey for me to go PvP. Like, obviously my timing is very good, and there are rogue fundamentals that I'm very good at, but learning all of the different classes and what they can do. I would definitely get into PvP in Classic Plus, 100%. I'd start on a PvP server. I'm on a PvE server here, which I like. There's a number of reasons why PvE servers are really nice to play on. The economy is generally not as bananas as it is in PvP. Things are a lot cheaper. You know, you can go about your daily business without getting ganked if you just want to focus on raiding and gold farming and stuff. But the real fun memories, player versus player, you only get them on PvP realms, even though you have to deal with the nuisance. And the reason why I went PvE is because when Classic re-released, in private servers, you'd have people just ganking and destroying entire raids and wiping out all your world buffs. And that was part of the culture then. And I was like, I really don't want to put in like hours getting all my world buffs. There was no chrono boon at that stage. Hours getting all my world buffs just to have like some sweaty, griefy group of lads just come and just ruin it all because I just want to parse. So that was a big reason why I went PvE. Mate, just game. What? Just stop it, game. Stop this madness. What is it today? Why are you doing this? So if I have a second rogue and I don't need engineering to get the chest, what would you use that rogue for as a farming rogue? Second rogue on a different account. If you have a second rogue on a different account, you do need engineering to get the chest. But if you have a second rogue on the same account, you won't be able to dual rogue in here. So you'd need engineering for the chests anyway. Not sure I understand what you're getting at. Where are you from? And why are you in China right now? I'm from Ireland. I'm in China because I flew out here 3 weeks ago and enrolled for 6 months at a Kung Fu Academy. So I'm here until January. I was going to enroll for a year, but the school is like not really that good compared to what it was. Basically, there was a master here who was really exceptional and a very impressive individual, and he had a number of disciples over the years who learned Wing Chun from him, and their accounts of their learning experience and how it affected their lives was very impressive. And so I came here to learn from him. And when I got here, I found out that he had left a couple of months ago and they didn't update the website. And they left him up on the website because they understand that he's a massive draw, but they know that he's not here, which is, I really didn't like that. That's like false advertising basically at this point. And they tried to make excuses for why they left him up there. And they're like, oh no, but we leave the masters up there because it shows all the masters who came to the school. But they didn't put any update like past master, he's no longer here, you know, because they want people to keep coming. So that was like duplicitous and I didn't appreciate it. And lots of there's no AC in the rooms and it was like 35 degrees in the rooms and nobody could sleep. And I got an AC. But there's lots of little things anyway, basically. I'm just being honest about my experience. I don't let the cynicism get to me because the 6 months that I do here of training is still going to be phenomenal. I'm going to get much faster and stronger and fitter, and I'm going to be a much better version of myself in 6 months. But I decided not to go for the full year after discovering that he wasn't here. But he set up his own school, and one of his disciples is still here in this school, and that person invited me down to his school. So I will go there in 6 months and I'll train under him. So basically that's why I'm in China, and I'll be here for at least the next year. I've rented IPCL lines using a piece of software called V2RAN in order to route underneath the Great Firewall. It's not like a VPN, it's more like a kind of industrial scale commercial bypass option. And that's really important because all the VPNs are in a cat and mouse game with the Great Firewall. So they just stop working periodically, or they stop allowing you to connect. And if you're trying to stream, it's a disaster. So that doesn't work. So we found out about this because this is what the Chinese streamers use. And it took me about a week or 10 days of like lots of technical head scratching and problem solving to try and figure this stuff out, because I don't speak Chinese and I'm just using AI and Google to do it. So that was a learning experience. And we got a booster which splits our network traffic and routes World of Warcraft directly through it, which gives me my ping to Europe from China. You can literally throw a stone across the bay and you'll hit North Korea. Not literally, but you know what I mean. It's 146 ms back to European servers in France, which is absolutely insane. In Bangkok, I was getting 250 to 300, but with this software, I get 146. So we are actually, and I got my own fiber line set up in my room here because the internet here is absolute doggy doo-doo and you can't do anything with it. So I have my own 100 megabit per second on Chinese server, on Chinese network. I get that, but not going into the West, but it's still very good and it's dirt cheap. So I got myself fully set up for streaming and training. And so that's the plan. That's why I'm in China. And yeah, I'm from Ireland. I just saw Petrovich on a spec and I was like, yeah, well, that is my second name, actually. I have a Yugoslavian grandparent. So I'm like 3/4 Irish, 1/4 Yugoslavian, Serbian. And that is, as they say, is that. Right, let's vanish and grab this godforsaken chest. Turn around. Turn around. Second rogue is herb binding, but feel like I'm not getting anything out of herb. Super mana potion, nice. And I don't want to go into engineering because I'm just using it for MT. The second row is the herb and mining. Oh, I would go alchemist and go elixir, whatever haze potion is basically, and then use the money you farm from MT and SV. And yeah, potion master. Use the money you farm from SV and MT to buy a haze potion recipe as soon as you can. And then use the rest of the money you farm from here to buy the materials you need to craft haze potions. And that way you can just make haze potions and you get every extra proc. You're making money already from the profit you make from making the haze potions out of the materials, although the market for that is so heavy that it's usually the margin is pretty thin for how much you can make, but you're making money on the procs. That's where you're making your money. So I would do that 100%. Go alchemy potion master with the second rogue. Buy a haze potion recipe and then just liquidate the assets from the farms on the first rogue. And buy the materials you need to make haze potions and then just make all the haze potions and sell them. And make your money. Oy, a bit of an overextension there. Not fast scroll. I mean, you can see a lot of old stuff from your chat. Mine deletes. Ah, yeah, chat history, right? That's from Leatrix Plus, I'm pretty sure. Chat. Increase chat history there. 4,096 lines. If unchecked, the default will be 128. So yeah, significantly more, as you say. Leatrix Plus, it's a great little add-on. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can easy resize the chat. You can hide the chat buttons at the side. More font sizes, chat history, hide error messages, which I don't like, seeing the red error message in the middle of your screen. Hide portrait numbers, hide zone text, keeps everything clean and minimal. I like everything kind of clean and minimal. Hide macro text, sure. Interface, enhance the minimap, so we can have this, your add-ons in this little dropout on the side, which is really nice. Keep things clean. What else can we do? That hide the zoom button, zone text, tracking button, hide the looking for group button, all that stuff. You don't need to see any of that. It does a load of really cool things. You can enhance the tooltip so that you can show guild ranks, unit health, hide the health bar. I don't want to see, there's a green health bar at the bottom normally, and it just looks very out of place. It juts out, doesn't jut out, but it's out here, and it just looks, it's not very clean. So I just want to hide that. If I really want to see their health, I can just click on them and see it here. Loads of cool features, to be honest. Thank you for replying. No problem, dude. I'm used to having, like, you know, 12, 15, 20 people watching. There's 95 people watching now, so I'm hoping I'll be able to keep up with the questions. Just say it's because you're scared of losing in PvP. I'm not scared. I don't mind dying. You gotta die a million times to learn how to mage AoE farm. You gotta die a million times to learn how to figure out how to crack these chests open and do those shenanigans. So I definitely don't mind dying. It's just a daunting, I know that if I commit to it, I'm gonna want to go all in, and it's just gonna take a lot of time. It's a big undertaking to start fresh in PvP and go into it. But if you want to be a well-rounded rogue, you need to be very good in, for me anyway, I want to be like really good in PvE, which I already am, and a very good gold farmer, which I already am, and you need to be good at PvP, which I'm not. So that's kind of like my Achilles heel in terms of being like a well-rounded classic rogue. So I kind of need that feather in my cap, I feel. Going PvE this time around was the best choice I ever made. PvP was more trouble than it's worth. 100,000. Yeah, because you can go to arena if you want to PvP or do battlegrounds, but world PvP is just a lot of trouble, you know. You just spent 5 minutes trying to say that. I suppose I did. Funkazapan, sweet. I'm Serbian and thinking of going to China to teach English as I'm doing a master's in teaching and linguistics. Ah, awesome. I lived in Vietnam and taught English for 7 years, and it's a lot of fun, and I would definitely recommend coming to Asia and teaching English. It's a great place because it's so different. Like, it's so different. You can go around Europe, but like Europe is Judeo-Christian roots, you know, and you go, if you haven't been to China, if you haven't been to Asia or West Asia or Africa, and probably South America as well, those would be the big ones. But I think Asia, out of all of those different regions, Asian culture is the most different to Western culture of the others, because it was, you know, the conquistadors who went to South America, so there's a lot of Judeo-Christian principles there in culture, and even the characters. I mean, like the Chinese characters are absolutely bonkers. Like, you know, it's just mental, you know, compared to our language. But I suppose Cyrillic is something you'd probably be more familiar with in if you are in Serbia, on that side of things with neighboring countries. Seen a little bit of the Russian alphabet in there. But yeah, I mean, it's so different, and people think, Jesus, we only made 298 gold out of that run. That's so bad. Let's update. People think if they've traveled around Europe but they haven't traveled anywhere else, they're like, oh, this place is really cool. It's so different from Ireland or whatever. And it is, relatively speaking. But once you go to Southeast Asia, it's like, it's just another level. I would definitely recommend it. It's a great learning experience. It's so much fun. And motorbikes. You get to you get a Hanoi tattoo. You get to burn the shit out of your leg on motorbikes and have a couple of minor crashes, hopefully no major ones, and get yourself a couple of bumps and scrapes, which is just a rite of passage for all of us. 383 gold at 18 runs. Let's do the math. 383 times 18 is 6,894 gold we've farmed from Steamvaults since last Saturday 2 weekends ago. So like 8-9 days. About 1,000 a day just from SV. And then MT is obviously going to be about 900 a day because it's a little bit less. 298, 23 silver, so we'll round down to 298 plus 298. This is going to bring our average down by a lot. 7,192 gold. Sorry, that's how much we farmed since Saturday 2 weekends ago. And now we divide it by the new lockout number, which is 19, to give us a new total of 378.52. Because it's 5.2, we round up to 379. So we lost 4 gold per hour from those abysmal, absolutely abysmal lockout. I'm sorry you had to see that. What time is it? It's 10 past 11. I gotta be up at 7. And I'm wrecked from a day of training. Thank you everyone for joining. I've never had so many people watching the stream. Where am I from, man? I'm Irish, brother. That's really, really cool. I'm kind of basically new. I started in February. Just going content all the way through gold farming, doing this. I stream every day from about 2 p.m, give or take half an hour, server time EU, until around this time. And we do this series where we're running MT against SV. We will reset this next phase so that we can get a phase by phase look at the gold difference, because it's going to affect the gem market next phase when epics come out. So we'll reset this and we'll keep tracking our total gold earned. Of course, we stream our raids once a week, and we do pump and try to parse. We got a nice 99 on Alar, the last raid, and we got a 99 on hiking Mulgar from Gruul, so that was cool. So we stream raids, but when I stream raid, I won't have cam on and I won't have lights on because we have a curfew here, and if I get caught streaming at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, that's when the stream starts because I'm in China, until 5 a.m. If I get caught doing that, I might get caned. Somebody got caned today in the school. Some guy who keeps being late for class. The coach brought out a bamboo stick and pulled him out in front of everybody, made him go down on the floor like he was pushing up, and just lashed him twice on the arse. So I don't want to get caught, and wouldn't mind getting caned too much, but I definitely don't want to be under the spotlight and not be able to raid. So when I do raid, it'll be lights off and there'll be no cam, and it'll just be my voice. Let me check to see if we know when we're raiding this week, actually, since there's still 82 of you up, and I can give you an idea of when that's going to be. Let me see. Thursday. Okay, raids haven't been finalized. They'll be finalized tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. I'll be streaming again, and we'll figure out when I'm raiding. It'll either be Wednesday night, Thursday night, or Friday night. What else? Yeah, we got a midnight. We might be in the midnight launch raid for Mount Hyjal, but we'll be streaming Mount Hyjal and Black Temple week 1. And that's it. I think on YouTube we're getting close to 3k subs, which is really, really nice. And yeah, we're getting there. We're growing. I do have a phase 2 to phase 3 BIS gearing guide. The sequencing and editing is all done. I just need to record the voiceover, but I'm super busy. That's coming sometime this week. I'll show you how much Warglaives are worth in terms of DPS. Spoiler alert, they're worth 220 DPS, which is basically just under 4 DSTs. That's how much both glaives are worth. It's insane. I'll show you the single best DPS outside of glaives, the single best DPS items you can get for your rogue. And spoiler alert, your 2-set bonus, which is going to be relatively easy to get because the bosses drop more tokens this time around as Blizzard increase the number of tokens that drop. Your 2-set bonus that gives your Slice and Dice an extra 5% haste on top of what it already does, so it goes to 35% increased haste from Slice and Dice with that bonus. That 2-set bonus is worth more than any other single item, if I remember correctly, apart from DST if you haven't got it. Your 2-set bonus is worth the most, I think. After that, it's going to be probably Blade of Savagery in your offhand, which is absolutely incredible because you can understand why a DST would give you like 55 DPS, give or take 5 DPS, because it's insane. You can understand as a rogue why a main hand weapon would give you 55 DPS like Talon does, because main hand weapons for rogues are your main damage dealing and combo point dealing abilities are slapping with that, so it's a huge part of your DPS. But for an offhand weapon to give you such a jump, it's absolutely incredible. That's going from Latros, but Blade of Savagery from Mother Shiraz is, if I remember correctly, I think it's worth 40 DPS or 45 DPS, which is mental since DST is worth like 55. It might be, say 40 DPS, give or take 5 DPS. If you're coming from the Season 2 offhand, it's going to be more like 25 or 30 DPS, I think. But it's still really good. But do you want to take that if you're in the running for glaives? You know, do you want to put your SR on that if you're putting your SR on glaives? It's a hard one to pick. Other than that, lots of the other stuff is just giving us 10 to 15 DPS, like the neck, the cape. The belt is still Belt of 100 Deaths. DST and Warp Spring Coil are still BIS. The Arcanite Steam Pistol is still BIS. The bracers, the 2 rings. Interestingly, actually, this is interesting. The ring that you get from your reputation, the one that you select now that you can get from the end of the Hyjal to BT chain, if you swap that out, if you're in full phase 2 BIS gear and you put in that ring, the fully upgraded version of that ring, the Exalted ring, it's actually a 2 DPS loss from phase 2 BIS for if you swap it out for a Ring of Lethality, for example. It's like 1 or 2 DPS loss. It's in and around the same DPS. But if you're in full phase 3 BIS and you have both of the phase BIS, the BIS phase rings on, that one included, the one I just mentioned, the Reputation ring, if you take that ring off and you put in Lethality, you're going to lose like 20 or 25 DPS. So that ring in particular is a ring that scales really well with the rest of your gear. Its DPS will scale with the rest of your gear, which is quite interesting. So if you're like me and you were in a hurry to get into a dungeon and you handed that quest in and picked the wrong ring, and you can no longer get the DPS ring until you're Exalted, and then you can switch it, which is what happened to me because I'm super intelligent and really, really good at this game. You don't have to worry too much because you're not going to actually lose DPS from not being able to equip that ring now. And it gets better with your gear, and you only get that gear from going into raids, and when you go into the raids you also get Reputation and Exalted. So it's basically gonna, as the ring gets better, you're getting more reputation. You'll get, by the time you get to Exalted, it'll be worth swapping the ring, and you're not going to be losing too much DPS that way. But it was just interesting that ring in particular in full phase 2 BIS isn't worth anything really, but then when you upgrade to full phase 3, it's really, really good compared to the other two. So that video is dropping soon. And I also have a level 80 Wrath Rogue on private server, which I need to gear up and do the Cara farm, so I'll be recording that. And I'll probably stream a little bit of that as well while I'm figuring it out and getting it ready, maybe. So anyway, we've got lots of content coming, lots of stuff in the loop. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you very much. I've never had this many people on stream watching me, so that's kind of cool. Really appreciate it. 2 fat ladies, 88 people watching. That's banger. 72 on Twitch and 12 on YouTube. So we are probably going to go exclusively to YouTube soon, so we can put out some music on Twitch, because I don't like YouTube cutting that off. Alright guys, I'm gonna go and sleep and I'll catch you in the next one.